It's time for change to move into the real work of the universe. And it's time to understand that we use the matter state to reach the level of understanding of the soul of the man. Now you understand maybe why the Creator has sent His messengers in the name of whatever you have had. Is that they bring the ears that it can be used when the time of the Messiah comes. They can teach the soul and the message, not to oppose, but by them understanding through those who have become Messiahs to give from their souls to these to elevate, the job is made easy. The school is there and the students are devotedly there. Then there won't be any fight between what they call the Muslims and the Christians. The lamb and the lion will eat and sleep in the same nest. The Christians and the Muslims will sleep and pray in the mosque and in the same church in the name of their souls, not in the name of religion that is used to create so much conflict for the benefit of those who were the hyperactive children. The time has come, the time of change is here. And as I said, my wish is my command. If it's your wish to see peace, the path of peace is laid very clearly. It's the soul of the collective awareness. By giving will create that position of change. No other thing. There is no pen in the soul of the man. And I'm sure once you go into the universal community, you will never see anything written but the balance of the fields of the soul of the existence. Try to be humble enough not to become arrogant in the power that you have understood and you possess. Otherwise, you'll fall in the same path of the church and the mosque. This is what we promised, and this is what we have delivered. We have to understand the operation of the soul, and we have to understand the soul of the man is a star in the cosmos of the universe. If we compare the soul of the man and many of us, 7 billion in one collection, Earth is like a galaxy with so many stars. When we look in the depth of the universe, we see galaxies with hundreds of millions of stars in it. So is the planet Earth. It carries 7 billion beautiful stars, which are the soul of the man. Carries with it soul of so many trillions of animals, plants, and everything else. So if you look, when someone who does not see the physicality of the earth and its content, what do they see? They see a galaxy with so many beautiful lights shining, each one according to their strength, each one according to their position. An infant has a beautiful soul, so has the old man. To those who do not see the physical dimension of this planet, but they see the strength of the field, we are clusters of stars. The human race, every single soul, no one from a distance sees that's the soul of a fisherman, that's the soul of the cosmologist, that's the soul of a president. They all shine irrespective of the physicality. This is the magic. This is what the new science has to bring to man. When we look through our soul, we see nothing but the star in the other souls. And this is the break. This is the understanding. This is what all these teachings are about. Coming to mature to the next level, to understand in the deep space, the universe is the oyster for those souls who serve. Then man is ready to go into space. Then man is ready to become part of the universal community which has been promised. I never promised you heaven. I always promised you the elevation of the man to join the family. And now you have the key. It's you who has to open the door to understand, if I can raise the soul of these people or millions of other souls, that the physical life on this planet changes, then I'm worthy to be part of the universal community. To be there to serve, to expand, to be there, to be part, that in the cycle of life of universe, I become, in being part, I become part of the totality. When man reaches that point, a new dimension in the strength of the soul of the man will appear, which is beyond imagination of understanding of the physical life. It's the gate to the opening of the new life in a new dimension, which is beyond imagination of what you might call a new beginning, a new cycle. Which that cycle carries with itself the origin of the creation of life in the universe and the universe. It's the elevation of the soul to serve become the key, not a throne of the physical life. The time is right. The time has come for the man to go through this process.
Bună seara și bine ați venit la sesiunea publică de studii în limba română, numărul 143, care are ca temă, în principal, atelierul 328 al căutătorilor de cunoștințe, dar mai avem noi restanță de 326. Și pentru a rezolva această restanță, vom parcurge toate aceste materiale mai deosebit decât în celelalte dăți, adică partea de întrebări și răspunsuri probabil o să o lăsăm pentru altă dată, iar comentariile mele vor fi mult scurtate. Eu mi-am făcut lecțiile, să știți că materialul este tipărit, cum să spunem. Deci am lecția făcută cu rezumatul acesta extins, cum v-am obișnuit, însă nu-l voi citi de această dată. Vă voi lăsa pe voi să faceți aceasta, vă las plăcerea să revizuiți și să vă împrospătați cunoștințele citindu-l, poate și recitindu-l, pentru că materialele sunt lungi și aș vrea ca în primul rând să vedem partea subtitrată de Katie și de Florin, cărora le mulțumim pe această cale, pentru a primi și din sufletul domnului Keshe informația care trebuie să ajungă la noi. Informație foarte importantă pentru din această lecție reiese, veți vedea, adună mult mai multe cunoștințe din urmă și clarifică multe lucruri. Este o lecție pe care probabil o vom revedea de mai multe ori ca să înțelegem cât mai în adânc. Și să vă spun de pe acum că materialul subtitrat, toate adunate, 328, 326, sunt aproape 3 ore. Deci rămâne foarte puțin timp de comentarii. Primul și al doilea material, că sunt de fapt 2 materiale, de fapt materialul e unul, dar a fost împărțit în 2, jumătate a făcut Katie, jumătate Florin, din 328. Deci le voi reda integral, deci primul are vreo 40 și ceva de minute, al doilea 50. Deci pregătiți-vă pentru o perioadă mai lungă de vizionare, nu cum v-am obișnuit, ca să facem comentarii rapid. Deci dacă aveți întrebări, nelămuriri, puneți-le pe hârtie eventual, ca să nu le uitați până la sfârșit și eventual la sfârșit le comentăm. Dar ca să nu mai pierdem timpul, de aceea am dat și un intro mai scurt de această dată, ca să putem să avem timp mai mult pentru materialele subtitrate. Așa că voi începe cu primul material.
When we look at an atom in the hydrogen, it's when we look at an atom in the hydrogen, it's one electron, runs around like crazy with all not knowing when it's on one side, what is happening on the other side. When we come to deuterium, we see 2 electrons, peacefulness, completion, with a center and 2 what we call electrons. We see that balance when we go to helium. Then you need that balance. You need 2 to keep the knowledge and the beauty of the center. This we established in the core team, and many people did not understand. Establishment of 1 within and 12 outside. And within the process, the twin cell sat between the 2. Now that you understand more, you understand the creation of God to be balanced and all benefit at the same time from the light of His, what we call knowledge, needs 2 to keep in touch. The deuterium is the effective way that every soul within the domain of the Creator are enlightened and looked at and looked after the same. So when in hydrogen, an electron is on one side, the other side doesn't stay in darkness, because the 2 in tritium and in deuterium will become the same, radiate and control and maintain and share equal. Many times you will come to understand the knowledge of the space sits somewhere, if you understand it fully, between the deuterium and tritium, because it's the simplest way we can explain. Radiate and cover, and with it, make sure that the knowledge and the energies of the universe balancely distributed from the center and from outside in collectively working together. When you go to the position of understanding this, then the mankind becomes that atom. The universe becomes that atom. And the balance sits within the center. Then, if you understand this, you go to the next step, where you place the position of the balance within the structure. What you see in the structure of the what we call hydrogen and its components and helium is a part of the structure of the creation, because it says, I'm made in the image of myself. You sit two within the center, but with one sitting outside to cover the totality. You sit one in the center and you cover two outside to make sure everything is complete. In so many ways, when you become a helium, you become an inert gas. But when you become a deuterium, you become center-controlled, heavy, but in so many ways radiate at the same time. This is the beauty of the knowledge, if you understand the collective transition and simultaneously control of the fields, which are the light and the knowledge of the Creator. You got to understand the Creator is not in one form. The Creator is in every form that He has created across the universe. So He is in the image of all, and not only man. And when mankind understands this, man becomes mature to the reality of the creation. In so many ways, you need the balance in the center, and you need the balance outside, that the light of the Creator covers the totality. So mankind will become to understand more and more the operation of the creation. Then in this process, he gets enlightened. And that enlightenment is the knowledge of the Creator, which is, according to his intelligence, he can, in a way, elevate his own soul to reach a new dimension. Then you got to understand, one point, you are hydrogen, at the same time that you behave like a helium. Because in the transition of what you call Adam and Eve, you understand the Eve sits within the Adam, and Adam and Eve sits within another Adam. This is how creation was created. And in so many ways, as I was explaining to the knowledge seekers very recently, mankind has been very, very kind only to the man, because when man found out that he is the essence of the creation and without him cannot create, he changed the rules, he changed the truth, as has been the habit of the man. We've seen him how in the wars, the truth never written, only the one who was victorious has written a history in his own way. We've seen it in the Second World War and the First World War, but the truth sets far, far deeper. And now we understand it's the same with mankind. The truth sits somewhere else. The truth sits within the essence that the Creator was and being and shall be a woman. It's a female because he can create. But when the man, during the time of the history of mankind, realized without him she cannot be the creator of a child, he said, I rewrite, I create Adam and Eve. But in fact, the life of the man started with Mitra, the beauty of the creation, a woman. So now you see how much you have to rewrite the history of man and all those you believed in. Man never created. Man was created out of, and that was a female. And this is why we bestow the love of God in the female, in the one who teaches, loves, and through it creates. So in time, when the book of man opens up, you will see a lot of mysterious moves of the reality to fake reality, for some to confirm that they are. In fact, in so many ways, if you look at the history of the man, women stayed firm at home, men become the hunters. They were the ones which were put out to bring. Well, in fact, how many times have you seen the king going hunting to bring food for his citizens? So man comes to understand something in reality. The origin of creation comes within the female. And this is why we start the religions over the way man wanted to believe in something with Mitra, with the female. And we turn that back to its origin as it is from now on, but bestowed within the two. That in totality brings a balance between the two sides. This is what man has to accept, and once the space opens up, you will see it is, has been, and will be. Unless the man has been so kind to be the kind of man that creates nothing but imagination. But in this time of troubles, in the depth of the space, in understanding the creation and the process of creation, man will come to understand more and more where to go, what to do, what to touch and where to avoid, and in what fields his souls will tell him not to go because it's too strong, and you'll be in the, what we call turbulence of the magnetic fields, which are flowing across the universe. So in a way, as you dress yourself to go out in the snow and the rain or the sun, you prepare your soul to meet with these dimensions. You never in a space avoid a position and a strength. You try to understand what is the purpose of it. Do I want to be part of it, or I want to stay out of it? I'm too hot, I don't want to be in the sun. Then you adjust. You, in a way, dress your soul to stand the environment. There is nowhere in the domain of the Creator forbidden, closed, and not allowed by no souls, nowhere. So when the man enlightens, when the man becomes a traveler of space, man has the access to the totality of the creation, even to the soul of the Creator. It cannot be any exclusion, even to the love of the Creator. You got to understand, love means giving, and in giving you create. If you understand the process of generation and birth on this planet, we give love. Unless you're economically minded and everything has a value, like Belgians, you buy a child. You never give a child. You don't give birth. Always is monetary controlled. And this essence of control has to go out of the, what we call inherent school of thought of the man. In so many ways, we become part of it, and to become part of it, we have to live the part, not to be outside when it suits, and be inside when it suits. So mankind has a lot to learn, but this process of learning will come instantaneously, because otherwise it will take millions of years to adjust. This is why we brought you everything, step by step, educated you in every dimension, with the help and understanding of different nations and nationalities and scientists across this planet. We start bringing the enlightenment, and we start explaining. Initially, from the medical side, we brought Dr. Elia Kostova in explaining and comparing and understanding more. In understanding the process of the fields and radiations, and understanding the process of creation, we brought in the Belgians, and then the Chinese, to show the mutation and conformation. In so many ways, mankind has to understand that the process of creation within the structure of his physical existence is the replication of the creation in the universe. And in so many ways, mankind has explained things in two ways without understanding it, and it's tried to benefit one or the other to suit and to fit him the way and where is to his advantage. As you become the passengers of the universe, you travel the span of this beautiful creation. You have to understand where you sit. You have to understand what you're faced with. You have to understand the condition of life and separation from condition of physicality. In the dimension of physicality, you have fields, you call them radiation, gamma, X-ray, or whatever, or cosmic, and many, many more that you will learn according to their strength as you become the passenger of the universe. Then you come into the dimension of life, which is the ganses, and then you explain the same thing in the examples of like B12, cesium, and deuterium, gamma rays, and alpha rays, where in fact these do not exist in the dimension of the ganses. Because in the ganses, the dimension of fields is in energy level of the fields of the structure of every gans. As we did some tests during the time, and as I said, when you look at some beauties of a man, you'll understand a lot of beauties, but on the other hand, the curiosity of the man brings a lot of knowledge. I'll give you an example. We were invited to be present in a very exclusive presentation by the heads of the EU in a conference in the building of the European Community Central Building, in a very, what I call, governmental secure conference regarding nanotechnology. And in this conference, there was an understanding of how the Keshe Foundation technology as a new nanotechnology could be explained. It was a auditorium, maybe about 100, 200 people. And we went in, as was usual when we got invited to these exclusive meetings. I always asked Dirk Lorentzens, I said, Dirk, come with me. I want you to be there, because then what you learn, we can put into the books and patterns. We went together, and strange enough, that was a time when we just introduced the parachutes, those hooks you see in the Coca-Cola bottle. That was an enigma to the world of nanotechnology, because the leading nanotechnology company in the world was based in Belgium. A lot of you know, they became part of our structure for a short time in Belgium. And we were carrying this parachute with us to show it for the first time in public. And the people who invited us from this organization, which is connected to the government of Belgium, they wanted to show a new nano understanding, because nobody has seen it, a nanomaterial which was producing energy directly from itself. As we were walking in, Dirk turned around and said to me, give me the parachute. I said, why? He says, give me the parachute. And he disappeared. And he was away for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And I was waiting to go into the conference. And he came back and said, Mehran, there is a problem. I said, what is the problem? He said, I don't think we're going to present. I said, why? He said, I took the parachutes because we had to pass through the radiation security. You know, they check you, that you don't carry anything. And then they had x-rays, what systems to detect. He came back and said, Mehran, this is worse than Sentex. I said, what do you mean? You know, Sentex, there's dynamites they make, you cannot detect under the, what do you call it, the systems. You can take it with you on board if you get on the plane. I said, yeah. He says, this is the same. It is a new technology, and they don't want to discuss it now. You're not talking. I said, but we came so much. I said, but how come? He said, Mehran, come have a look. It cannot be seen. We put it, we're watching it, but the system says it doesn't exist. He said, you have discovered a new material, and this is a dream of the man. I said, Dirk? He said, no, Mehran. They don't even want you to enter into the conference. I said, but Dirk, we came all this way to show this. This is a new discovery. He said, you know something what it means? I said, no. He said, you can carry anything within this box and no one will ever know. You have created a true black hole and this is frightening the officials. This knowledge has to stay away till we know what to do with it. I said, well, how come you took it to the machine? He said, I had to because we wanted to know for a long time what this is. Now we had it. So in a way, the heads of the atomic nuclear center and the nano people brought machines too, because I never let these things go. For the first time, they had 10 minutes to assess it, to understand it. And still they couldn't understand it. Then, in that process, we became signatory to 2 confidential contractual agreements with what is known as the Belgium Nuclear Center. They invited us in, and we started testing heavily. I gave, in a contractual agreement with our notaries and one of the directors, trustees of the Keshe Foundation, in the Nuclear Center of Belgium, what's called SCK, a contractual agreement that we provide 3 liquids to the Belgian authorities on the supervision of Americans and the French nuclear centers. I gave them 3 bottles. I said to them, this bottle is a bottle of life. Second bottle is the bottle of this, what we call solar system. And the third bottle is the condition of universe. You will never understand. They tested it. There were about 1.5 liters of each liquid. They tested it for a few weeks and they came back and they said, we need more. I said, what have you done? You've been drinking it? They said, we can't analyze it. It's too advanced for our technology, but we have seen some things. Then I gave them more. In a way, they wanted to see if I can replicate it or was accidental. They were given 3 more bottles. And then it came the beautiful time. They emptied a tank, about 1 meter by 1 meter, huge tank in the center of the SCK building. And they started vacuuming it out to understand the difference between the position of this material and how it's created and what they knew. We came to a very clear condition because up to that time in the atomic center, if you moved any radioactive material from one building to another, you needed permission. But inside the building, you could move. With this new technology and test, they found out from now on, you want to move a nanomaterial from one room to another, you need permission. Because they looked at it as a radioactive material. Then we opened it up to them in a very simple way, and the whole thing collapsed. Yes, it is absorber of every radiation, but when we immerse it and we convert it into a gas, is the radiation of the body of the man, which means it's not ray, it becomes plasma field. And this was a shock to the world of scientists, that how our system, when it's a matter state, reads it, sees it, and works as a gamma ray. But when it's within the cell of the man in the gans, it becomes harmless and becomes part of process of creation, and it becomes essential to the life. So it was interesting to see in those trials. I spent days within the SCK, a foreigner who was allowed to be inside as a nuclear physicist to open the eye of the Belgian scientists. They wrote a report and I corrected the report, and then they realized more. So for the first time, mankind realized in those tests that we see radiation as a ray, we see fields and energy as a gas without any harm. Then I had to explain to these people in a very simple way. As many times we have taught, you go to a doctor, you are given, you say, I'm about to create a new creation, and the doctor says you are pregnant. congratulations. And the next piece of paper comes in front of you. It says, please, can you go and buy yourself some folic acid? In the cycle of time you're pregnant, you take folic acid. But what is folic acid? Folic acid in the matter state is radiation, weak radiation, but at the level of the division of the cell of the womb, because what we call the interaction of the egg and the sperm needs a soft radiation that it can give energy to. So in the womb of the mother, it becomes like, as the present science understands, like the radiation. But in fact, it's the energy which allows more fields to be added from the womb to the cell, to the what we call fetus. And that's how accelerates the life. But when you go as an adult and you cannot, and you have problems, they give you B12, where folic acid is known as B9. So the strength of the 12 means is of a higher order. The strength radiation, as man understands in physical dimension. So when you take the B12 and enters the body, it changes by absorption in this what we call the lymph to the plasma and becomes part of life. So it was very hard to explain, and when understood by the nuclear physicists, that we have two types of radiation, one in a matter state and one in a plasma state, which is the essence of creation. This became an evolution in science, which, because it was discovered by Iranian nuclear physicists, could not be spoken. There was a criminal to be Iranian nuclear physicist. We all became terrorists, but became the saviors of life. And we return back that to Iran. The knowledge of creation will come from Iran, and we'll teach more. And in that essence, we understood one thing. When you saw Dr. Jafari and his wife, what we call the sister of Dr. Parviz, brought the paper about the pico and nano, and Dr. Asadi explained it. Now this is life. We knew this. Now we had the confirmation of physicality to it. What does this mean? This means life in a what we call smaller dimensions becomes part of the energy of the structure. And in a man's dimension, we see it as energies, what we call radioactive energies, which creates life. So a lot of people will try to understand that when you say a material is radioactive in a matter outside, you can measure it. Inside is not radioactive, but it's the essence of the creation. When somebody claims that gases are radioactive and dangerous, it means how infant and what they call illiterate in the knowledge of creation they are. Yes, if it wasn't, doctors won't give it to you, because gases have to be, but in the plasma state. They create no harm, and they don't create any, what we call, according to the test done in China and other part of the world, radioactive behavior. These are energies that your body picks up in the packages which comes from it. So when you come to understand, man has to understand, when you pass the spaces, the gaps, you have to analyze, are you passing through a fields of gamma, or are you passing through energy of gamma ray in the dimensions of the universe? Then when is in the dimension of the gas is food, when is in the dimension of ray is the divider, as we see in radiation and radioactive materials, that they divide cells, because it's a knife, where in the state of gas is life. There is a big difference between a knife and a life, and those who are ignorant to this knowledge, they will tell you that the gases are radioactive and dangerous, and the world of science will laugh them, because it shows how ignorant they are. And this has been already in part of the teachings and you have learned it. Go to the medical teaching and you will understand. So if and as the Keshe Foundation knowledge grows, you have to be aware when is radioactive is when it's created by the matter state, X-ray machines, nuclear bombs. When is within your body is the energy source, B12, B6. And many people who are illiterate will try to bring this to frighten the public because they've been paid to make money somewhere else. These are what we call the agents of those who up to now blocked the technology to come out. And now they think they can use this ignorance of knowledge to their benefit. But as you've all been educated and you understand the difference between the radiation and plasma field energy. So when somebody tells you cancers are radioactive, yes, of course they are. Otherwise doctors won't give it to you. How stupid are you? And you think you're clever? But we understand this. When we did the test with the Chinese research centers on what we call the wheat and the rice, and he showed that it's not genetically changing anything, it confirmed it's not radioactive. That was a conformity, because if it was, it would have changed physical geometry of the cell. So there is a lot of scientific proofs we can show you. But what you need to know for your soul to understand this in the space, you're becoming the travelers of the space. You have to understand which fields are cutting and which fields are lifing, and how you can change the knife to life. This is what you can do. This is what your body does. Your body continuously does this. Gets the radiation, gamma, X-ray, cosmic rays, and on the top layers of your skin converts it to life. You never find, unless it's so strong that can penetrate, radiation in matter states in the body of man. When it's strong, yes, we see it in nuclear. And the strangest thing is, this is what I found out in my early education as a nuclear physicist. There is a difference between the radiation within the body as gamma and whatever, and the radiation outside the body. And in that transition, body converts one to the other. If you understood this, you will go back into the science of what we call physiology of the man. There are 2 points in the intestine that there are very few micron. It took the scientists centuries, decades to even understand this. In your intestine, at a given point, it's very simply what happens is that if this is your intestine, we have taught this in the medical teaching. Now you're becoming man of space, you have to understand. In so many ways, where you start with your mouth, and you go into your stomach, and you digest the food. This is your face, as the British call it, the mush. Up to this point, somewhere here, and then somewhere here. This is a very few micron. Micron cannot be detected. Up to here, the body absorbs B12, which you ate from picking up the fruits from the garden where the manure was used, which manure is partly creation collection of the fields of higher strengths called B12, or in olden days, people used to use their own excrement. They used to put it, energize it, and eat it. And up to this point, the body absorbs radiation. In a way, creates the condition that different strengths B12 from here to B12 from here are very different B12s. They're different energies because they have given to increase the energy of your limbs to be able to what condition they go. If your body is short of B12 as given the strength here, and you damage this one, then the cell or the lymph which picked this up, which is missing, will not be able to pass your bone marrow to become part of your immune system. So in a way, in the world of science of man today, when you have a deficiency in your immune system, you go and look what's wrong with the bone, and then you find out which part of the stomach or intestine the radiation has not been absorbed. Your problem sits in your stomach, not in deficiency in your immune system, which means the right radiation from B12 has not been absorbed. So when it comes to this point, red point, up to here, everything goes in. But as these B12s go and carry, the cell still carries a B12. And when it comes to at this strength to this strength, is no use because you want it. So what the body does, body returns back to here, the B12. It's the second time we see absorption of the radiation and conversion from matter state and the plasma state. And then in this point, it comes in as energy of B12. And after this line, it changes to matter of B12 and you reduce it at the excrement. So in the physical life, we see gamma rays, radiations all coming in, and at this point, through the structure of the gravitational magnetic field of 3 layers of the body, we convert these gamma rays into useful gamma energy or the GANS energy. But we see this on the skin, and for the first time, we understood we see it inside the body of the man as well. So in a way we change, we convert ganses into some sort of matter energy state that when it comes in touch with the gravitational field of the space of the earth, it changes to B12 as a matter. So your body cannot work without a knife and without a life. In outside become a knife, inside become a life. So when you come to understand this, you understand it's the same. B9, or what you call folic acid, has the strength that it only fits into the liquid of the womb of the mother. That is a soft field for the fetus to grow. So when people tell you ganses are radioactive, you say, of course they have to be. But they're radioactive in a plasma state. I can drink all of it. Nothing will happen in the water state. But when I eat itself, I create too much energy. Nothing to do with radiation of it. It's the amount of energy that they give. So this becomes part of you to understand. Because in space, the difference between different parts, the space in understanding the work of the fields and the plasma of the fields become important. So when somebody tells you ganses are radioactive, I said, you stupid guy, of course they are, otherwise you didn't exist. Your body absorbs, eats, and in a way, without it, you have problems. When you see, especially vegetarians coming to you, by the blood test you see. When people come to me, I have this problem, immune system problem, and the rest of it, what do the doctors tell you? You need this, you need that. In the new knowledge of the space technology, we ask for, we want to see the radioactive materials in your body and the position. I want to see the amount of B12 in your body. I want to see the amount of B6, B9, and every other radioactive material, which those who understand nothing about the world of creation has been covered under the B cells. All the vitamin Bs are radioactive materials. So when the immune system does not create, you have to see where it's not receiving the energy. Not going and trying to do the damage repair without fixing the brakes. So when you have a vegetarian with you, you understand always they have a shortage of B12. And the level and diversion from this balance point tells you how critical is and what immune system deficiencies and what damages in their body you expect. Because the lower it is, it means the damage is at a higher level of intestine. Because as the food travels along, it loses its energy, so the highest are taken at the top and the lowest. The highest is needed for neurodivision and rapid division of the cells for damages. The lower one is for normal repair. So you got to understand the difference between radioactive in a matter state and plasma field energy of activity as gamma ray in the cell, in the amino acid. A lot of people have tried to test this, and one after another, they have hit the wall. Because unless you increase the huge amount and even understanding of it, then you understand the safest thing mankind will carry is the ganses, which is the structure of his own body. But you come to one point, the whole of creation. Now that you become man of space, the whole of created things which carry intelligence and life, even a stone has a soul, if you remember, work through an understanding of the difference between the radiation in an open span or radiation within their own structure. You need lower, what you call it, the higher intensity radiations, that they become lower and lower cells, feeders, that in that process they grow to become bigger cells. When you see what I call, as you saw it with the presentation of material from during the what we call the blueprint from Iran, Dr. Asadi explained, we call it to pico and below. You don't come to this if you don't start from this. And to go from this to this, you need plasmatic radiation, which means you take from it and you grow. Plasmatic fields allows it. When we say you take B9 and increases the division of the cell of the child, that is perfect. It doesn't divide it. It creates a radiation field that it can absorb it and grow. We convert into life. This is why many of you, when you test, for example, with the plants which are dying and say it came to life, because this is what you did. You provided it a little. If I can explain it, I explained to my son one day, is when a child is born, you cannot give it the steak and chips. Cannot digest, it's too big. The stomach is not ready for it. What do? You give it the love of God, the milk of the mother. Small dosages. And that is small dosages, as it enters, you will see your plants grow. Because step by step. If you go in part of the Keshe Foundation teachings in health, you people have a habit of how many milligrams and how many milliliters of GANS, ZN, and this I need. This is your understanding. The way I work is how many drops. One drop of GANS works 1,000,000 times better than 30 ml of GANS. But you don't see it. Man has to have something big to be. In the cases where I call to save life, I use drops. Because if you give this, it's too much, stomach cannot digest. You spoon feed. You introduce a small amount of plasmatic fields as in a way of containing the process to give life. You cannot give to a sick body a steak to eat, but they'll accept drips of food. This is a knowledge in the hand of the Creator and not in the hand of those who things are and no more. The ignorance of their knowledge makes them big, but they don't understand nothing about the creation. They come in the cloth of lamb, but they betray in the cloth of falsehood. You have to understand these, because in the space is the difference between the controlling and maintaining your life, or you living and sharing your rays, your fields with the rest of the universal community as food, availability without soul. This is the difference when you're in a space. When you lose the control of the energies within your soul, which means they all become part of, you become free forward because you are available, there is no soul. When the energy has a soul, you cannot touch. It's become killing and murder and destruction. But when you lose, you decide, I open my skin, I don't want to have anything with me, then your life, your energy created, become the energy of the universe. And this is the difference. And this is where mankind have to understand, which you don't touch, and which is given to extend life and is yours with the pleasure and gift of the creator of it. Let me explain to you something very simple. In the process of creation, the fields are the same. It's a condition of the environment which dictates what fields will create. It's the same with the love of God. The Creator radiates, and as it interacts, creates different. The strength of the love of Creator from the beginning to the end is the same. Is the interaction of the division with the other environments leads to creation of unicals and universes and totality, which covers itself in it. I wrote to the two arms of the foundation this morning, be present in soul, that the whole of universe can hear. Be as far as you can, that you become close enough, that you cover the whole of unicos with the knowledge to be shared. This is the way the knowledge and enlightenment comes across the creation from now on. And then you understand even the creation has to come from radiation. And at the point of travel, transition, we call it radiation. And when he arrives, it becomes the energy or the gans of radiation. In this way, it works in one dimension. In this way, it works in a spherical condition, and its energy even the same. It becomes harmless. It becomes essence of life. In a way, the ganses themselves carry energy of radiation, but the disbursement in the sphere of the life creates useful and acceptable and life-meaning energy. And in this process, every field we receive from the cosmos or the food we eat, we receive within it the ray from the Creator. Depends how it's been divided and how it's been manipulated by the other fields within the environment. Then in space, mankind becomes aware of one thing. Without the division and what we call rays, mankind will not exist. Then this opens a new dimension for man to understand. As we said, you have different rays of gamma and alpha and beta, or whatever you call it. Now that you have come to this point, you will understand, as I said in the other teaching, they said the beauty of God is 99 as is written in Quran. I said the beauty of God in His space is 99999. So let me explain to you where the other nines will come that you have to understand and makes it incalculable. You receive gamma rays and X-rays in a physical matter, and then you convert it. That's for your physicality. Now you understand the Creator's higher order releases fields which is in match and the strength of your soul. Then you understand not only you've been fed by radiations you understand, but you've been fed through your soul by radiations is above you. This is how your soul is fed. How could He feed your physical dimension without feeding your soul? So mankind will come to understand more and more about these fields now that he becomes the passengers of the universe. In a way, B12 for physicality and division, B love is an increase in the knowledge of the Creator to feed the soul. And then when you receive what I call the B of devotion, it means it's only from Him to you. It's so high that no one can see and can absorb, because it's not at that level to receive. So mankind will come to understand more different fields of different strengths in the universe. Very much you will come to understand joy has the same fields as for you as the other one, and maybe it's a B22, where the B of devotion is, let's say, 100, the maximum. When you say what I call devotion, it means totality. And when it comes from the Creator, it means equality of the knowledge and the strength. When it comes to love, is you take what you think you need and make it available. Means you don't take all of it because you're not aware of the totality of it. A mother loves, she cannot love only one. The one is here, it takes as much as he likes because the mother has other children and has to love. One cannot have everything that the others suffer. But mother can give the same strength. They all know love the same. And this you will understand. So when you travel the depths of space, as we taught many times, everybody knows this color of soul means danger. This color of soul means energy available. This color of soul means I'm needing, I'm short on. And then you look and you say, you take what you need from me. For you to be equal to me, that in a way you shine and equal as me. As I said, as we start opening the knowledge of space, mankind has to understand the totality of it. There are no fuel tankers, and there are not express deliveries from the Creator. They're all available at all time in every corner of dimensions of the creation. For you to recognize what you can take and what you can convert to get what you need. What do I need to take the B12? How much of it from B20 to, okay, I need 12 of it, but what am I going to do without the 10? I let 9 to go because it's a division somewhere, and B1 is somewhere I need it, I know where it is. It's needed in the back of the prostate in one of the sperms. That creates the right condition for the egg and the sperm to meet. You need a lot to learn. You need a lot to learn.
Sper că v-a plăcut această parte a lecției și înainte de a trece la partea a doua, fac câteva precizări de la început. Poate nu este chiar așa de clar partea de început. Ne prezintă domnul Keshe niște modele de structuri, plecând de la hidrogen cu cele 3 variante de izotopi ai lui, hidrogen, deuteriu, tritiu și heliu. Deci ne spune domnul Keshe că la hidrogen avem un electron care se rotește ca un nebun, fără ca nimeni să știe ce se întâmplă într-o parte când el este în cealaltă parte. Deci e un sistem care nu acoperă în totalitate. Mergem la deuteriu, care este, vedem, deplinătatea, este ceva complet. El are un proton, are un neutron, are un electron. Deci are toate cele 3 elemente. Și ne ducem la heliu, care are 2 protoni, 2 neutroni, 2 electroni. Și acesta este un echilibru. Pentru că avem nevoie de 2 pentru a păstra cunoașterea și frumusețea centrului, spune domnul Keshe. Deci este complet echilibrat, este un gaz inert. Iar noi lucrăm în cele 2 variante, ca și hidrogen sau ca și heliu. Într-o parte este în hidrogen, într-o parte este în heliu. Adică avem și partea de stabilitate, de inerție, dar avem și partea de radiație, de transfer ale câmpurilor și de transport și de comunicare. Apoi, nu vă fac toată, deci acest material îl voi urca pe site, deci nu-l parcurgem acum, că nu o să avem timp. Ce vreau să vă mai spun în legătură cu ceea ce trebuie să înțelegem între radiație, partea cu B12, B9, noi am mai făcut-o cumva mai de mult, dar o reia domnul Keshe într-o variantă mult mai completă acum, cu lămuririle necesare. Diferența între cele 2 tipuri de radiații. Deci, radiația care noi o spunem că e radioactivă, cum o numim noi în fizicalitate, deci partea de radiație a fizicalității, care ne-o prezintă domnul Keshe, aceasta care pleacă din centru, de la creator și ajunge până la noi undeva, la o celulă, și care se transformă în gaz sub forma aceasta sferică. Deci, ea pleacă ca și rază, ca și radiație și aici se transformă într-o sferă. Deci se împrăștie în toată sfera. De aceasta, în partea aceasta e periculoasă, pentru că este intensă. Deși chiar aici, când ajunge, deși aceeași poartă aceeași energie, ea se distribuie în toată sfera și nu mai e periculoasă, ea alimentează. Deci e cumva acea transformare din undă în particulă. E asemănător procesul. Iar ca electrician nu mă pot abține să nu compar această parte cu sistemul de rețele electrice de transport, când avem tensiune înalte, foarte periculoase, iar aici este partea de distribuție, care avem tensiuni reduse, care le putem folosi pentru alimentare. Spune domnul Keshe că asta înseamnă alimentare, mâncare, iar partea aceasta este partea de cuțit, de tăiere. Deci aici e periculos, aici taie, divizează. Aici este partea de alimentare. Deci poate în felul acesta se înțelege mai ușor. Iar ce ne mai spune domnul Keshe? Că trebuie să învățăm mai multe, dar ideea este că, spune domnul Keshe, în afară de această radiație pe care noi o cunoaștem, există și o altă radiație care o primim de la Creator, și anume radiația pentru suflet, care este de o intensitate mult mai mare. Și acolo avem alte vitamine. Vitamina iubire, vitamina devotament, care sunt de intensități mult mai mari. Și ca să mergem în continuare, să parcurgem tot ce mi-am propus, o să vă propun următorul material. Dacă aveți vreo intervenție scurtă până pregătesc eu materialul.
So, when we come in the depth of the universe, understand the difference between.
Nu se vede nimic, Virgil.
Imediat. Nu vă grăbiți.
So, when we come in the depth of the universe, understand the difference between a knife and a life. And don't try to cheat and try to say the life is the knife because you can see there's knife. We've seen this a lot in the religious teachings of the past. Frightening with the truth because people were ignorant of the knowledge. And this is part of the space you have to learn. One thing which mankind will learn very, very fast is in space on Earth, B12 is needed. But in another dimension, in space, the body of the man, B12, is a hazard. Maybe you need an energy of B14, which you'll come to understand. When originally the people who start thinking about vitamins called B, it came actually as being. Is what you need to exist as an existence as life. And in so many ways, you will come to understand that this process, this understanding, this criteria is the cornerstone of life. Without fields of radiation in all dimensions, there will be no life. You cannot exist. It's impossibility. You solidify. You need to divide. You need to share to exist. So, what you call radiation is a cornerstone of life. But you have to understand primarily what is a ray of gamma and what is a gans of gamma. This will divide cells. This creates life and cell. And this process will come ahead with you when you travel the depth of space. Understanding of the conversion of the field of universe to what you need in the plasma of the gans of your body. In a way, the ganses are the converters. And you will see gamma radiation because it's as a field strength. It's very much like vaccination. You put the vaccine in strong, but then it becomes weak, that it protects the other and becomes part of that. So be aware that in the coming time, many enemies of the foundation will try to use this because they use your ignorance, and you have to be wise enough to explain it, that they become dust of the earth. Betraying the Creator is worse than becoming whatever you can call. You take the love of God from that soul and make it available to the rest, that there'll be no sign of it left. In that process, there shall be never no one to divide to their own benefit. And the beauty of it is, over the years, Foundation has gathered enough information data to understand when these traitors come, how to handle them. Because the evidence is scientific, and the evidence is your life. Without the cosmic rays and radiations from the space, you will not receive 80% of the food you digest daily without eating. You have to thank the fields of the universe that they feed you so freely. Otherwise, you wouldn't have the other 2 weeks of holidays a year, because you had to work 52 weeks a year just to try to cover maybe part of this. For 20% of energy you receive to carry this physicality, you work day and night to keep it going. Imagine if you would have left the other 80% to you to carry it. There would have been no sleep, and there would have been no life. So when you come to it, understand, radiation in matter state is a big different radiation in a cancer state, because without it, life do not exist. And when it goes to a smaller, you have to grow it to become bigger. So when you saw the analysis and the data, which was delivered in the Farsi teaching, and Dr. Asadi explained to you, there's pico and below. Yes, there is. Up to now, you couldn't see. But the fields of the what called universal fields gradually grows this bigger and bigger to make them available for the body of the man to be able to absorb. In a way, universal fields, rays, are the seed of your food. And you understand more and more. And then, in so many ways, without them, you cannot exist. But don't let anyone to fool you. Because now that we open this into space of knowledge of what we call governments, a lot of pharmaceuticals will come to this because they want to use it to protect their assets. And then when you can explain, you will see it. And we'll see a lot of people who do not understand and lack understanding of the totality will claim the same. So be very aware when you talk about gamma ray in a space, gamma ray within the Earth atmosphere, and gamma ray strength within a cell of the body of man. Gamma ray in atmosphere, you call it cosmos rays of higher order. When it enters the Earth's atmosphere, it becomes gamma rays and alpha rays and whatever else in the strength of the atmosphere. When it enters the gans or the cell of the man, is energy of the same. It's still the same, but you can see how it reduces in strength and become food. Without it, we cannot exist. And in a coming time, when the people, scientists, open the ganses, they will understand more of this. You see, that fluorescence wasn't bad all the time, was he? His curiosity brought a lot of knowledge and understanding and scientific proof. Blessed his soul. We always elevate. It's them that they can take from themselves, not us. Then you understand the whole process of creation. And if you don't understand this, do not get on UFOs or soul trouble, because you will be in a big trouble. On Earth, you are protected, and life with the gravitational magnetic field of the Earth has created these fields of protection for you and conversion. It is space here on your own, and you have to understand. Where do the fields come together? What happens when two gamma rays interact and you accidentally enter this point? Happens all the time. It's one of the biggest traps in the universe. What happened when you want to travel the span of universe, you're on Earth and you want to go to planet Zeus to see Mr. Keshe? What happens? You don't go that way on its own, and there's so many obstacles that are on your way. You zigzag, or you find the strength that you can go through. Then, if you understood, planet Zeus is the creator, is where he lives, that everything radiates and comes from. And in so many ways, the brightness of the light, in so many ways, brings the blindness of the eye. The more we give, the less you see, and that has to change. You should see through your eye of your soul, and through that you see the Creator by the soul. Those who achieve this point of understanding become the messengers of their own soul. Then you understand the life in this cycle of creation, from creator to created, comes from radiation. That one radiates that the other one can see, and one radiates to confirm that it received, and that's what I want to give back. The Creator will not know if you have received it or not, unless you say, yes, I have, and this is what I've got, and the balance is yours. So, part of your work, part of the understanding of the research and development for man in the next few months and weeks has to be to understand the conversion ratio from gamma ray to gamma energy, which this, if it's in the wrong way, creates the splitting of it. This, in the right way, becomes the food of it. But when it gets here, it gets dispersed in the fields, even though it's the same there, but it's not the same strength up there. Now it's the totality of the fingerprint. Here is the orange. Here is the essence of the orange, without the orange. And if you understand this, these are part of the teaching that you have to learn. You have no option, because becoming passenger of universe, then even in that process, you will see who is claiming to be the prophets, as they thought they were close enough to understood part of it. And usually those who come to understand the tiny bit of it claim that all the teachers of that to those who are taught. We've seen that many times across the Keshe Foundation. The most ignorance claim that they taught Mr. Keshe, where they did not exist till the week they were given the ground to explain what they thought they understood. Pride of the man is the noose around the neck of the man, and they hang it by themselves. We give knowledge for you to expand, to elevate. We don't give knowledge for you to use to divide. Those who do, the soul has been taken from it. And that's shame. Because the energy for sharing knowledge has to be shared to progress, not to divide. We teach for you to understand. And the knowledge I taught to you today, it was taught in two levels. One in the level of your ear or your physicality, and one in the level of your soul. That when you become the passenger of the space, you know where to look for what energy and how fast and what level that you can convert it to your food. Or you have extra, you can put it on that level that it becomes food for somebody else. What you do not need, you give already digested so they can tap into it. They don't use energy and fields to convert it. And then now you understand, as you like to say, the Creator transmits on two channels. One in the strength of the matter level, you call it gamma ray, and one in the strength of the soul. And still this has different strengths according to what it needs and what is the total understanding of that soul in what it needs. So when you have what we call the soul of the man and the soul of physicality of the man, the Creator has been aware of this from the time of establishment. When you feed in this, you cannot feed in this because it's too much to absorb. So now you have to understand when you travel which of these two fields you want to tap into, and where you tap to which to manifest yourself in the dimension of physicality, or you tap to this to manifest yourself as the fields of life in the span of the universe. And if you understood this, you can use these fields and radiations in so many ways to travel the span of the universe without conversion to physicality. If you devote your soul, you reach directly. And at this point, as you're not needed to devote, you convert to matter state of that if you want, or the energy of it. This is very important for you to understand. Let me explain something so many of you might have understood. As I said, your soul is a sun. And each ray of sun, depending on the position of the fields of it, dictates where it goes. If you absorb more within the center, you'll come of a higher strength out. If you absorb in the middle, you have less strength. Is this the channel when it's the soul, and it passes the ear of the man and the eye of the man, which sees and interacts with the mother and the father and sees and hears them. And is this channel, which is of the higher strength, connected to the soul of the Creator, and this to the soul of planet Bod, and this to another dimension of the universe? This man has to understand. Radiations and the field strength of what we call plasmatic move of the given strength, what you call radiation, is the essence of the line of transportation and communication with the rest of the creation. And mankind has not understood this yet. For example, if you understand that this field which comes to the soul and at this level is for the strength of the emotion of love of a father to a child, and you need to strengthen this for the father to love his son not to get a prostate cancer, it takes a few seconds to feel that need, and no prostate cancer. Now you understand how we use the knowledge of radiation of the fields of the magnet or a magnetic field in plasma to convert it into the essence of the GANs and saving of life. When I tell you, you go in the enhancement unit, if it's done the right way, you walk in, 15 minutes, walk out with no tumor, is because in that 15 minutes, the first second you have satisfied, you fulfilled the emotion, and that emotion needs time to put what is put wrong, right, or dissolve the matters which you didn't need at that point. The teaching of today is part of the teaching of what we call the enhancement unit. The systems like enhancement units have been tested heavily for fields and radiation, and the radiation in them is zero. Therefore, what you see as fields is in existence, is part of your life. In so many ways, we test everything by intelligence of the man, and those who do not understand need to understand. And this is part of the travel structure, part of life structure, and mankind has to understand. That in 1 second you can speak to your mother and understand what she sees here, that there is a danger to come, and you stop or you go ahead. And in this you see the life and the light of the Father, which again wants the same love, and he sees the same and guides you through. And on the other hand, through your soul, you need to connect to go to planet Zeus to see the Creator. But you have to see, have you received the light of the strength? Or have you seen the light that you can go to? If you understood this, one of the biggest mysteries of the present science will appear. And that is, they tell us this star from Earth is so many million lights away. With the knowledge you learned today, do you believe it? Or the light you see from in this star is the strength of the same point and time which was created, and you are witness to it. And then, how come so many millions of us see the same star at the same time? Because of our human amino acid strength, we can only see at the same time, because the strength is the same, this one. But because the others are higher or lower order, and is not within the structure of our amino acid, we don't see. One of the fallacies of the present world of science can be explained. They tell you maybe 5 to 10% of cosmos is made of matter state. What a fallacy. The whole of universe is made of everything. There is no space gap. If there was a space gap, and if you understood the truth, your soul is here, and your physicality connection is here. Is there a space gap between your brain and your physical soul transportation and dominion? Or is it all brain cells? If you see a gap, you see a gap in this universal community and in the cosmos. Man, because he cannot see, it denies. Now man has to understand the life across the universe is a mesh of fields and radiations, you call it, from the creator to the created. And from created to another created, because they all carry the love of the creator. When I tell you, I adore you, it means I give you the whole package. When I tell you I love you, I give you what you need for that strength. We adore our children because we give them everything we have that they can survive. And mankind has to understand that the Creator adores His created. And it's for that child to understand and what he takes from it according to his expectation and the way he wants to direct his soul. You take it all, you become the Father. You choose it, you become somewhere in between till you mature to the totality. Now you understand, when we say we enter the world of universal community, you have to understand the knowledge of universal community. And this is the path, as we said, we have set from now on. We don't make you Ganses. Now we teach you one thing. And it's simple. Very, very simple. Where on this you want to be. And to understand it, and to be part of it. And understand that it's you who has to convert the reveals of the rays of the Creator through the gans of your body to the useful fields of your body. And what you do not need, you do not touch. Because it's somebody else's to use for them to live. One thing mankind will learn in a space is that he does not carry anymore liver. There are no storage tanks because the freedom of the supply does not need the storage and worries of life. So, as we said, as you don't eat, as you have no air to breathe, as you do not need to convert water, man's physical appearance in the depth of a space will change. How do you see yourself? You see through the soul of the man, through the fields of creation. You hear through the fields of the soul. So, primarily, man needs no eyes. Primarily, man does not need no ears. You have no air to breathe. Man does not need a nose. And primarily, as your physicality has no way of digesting as it takes the fields from the universe, you have no mouth to eat. Then what happens to all these organs that the man has created for life on this planet? There is no need for lungs, and there is no need for digestion system. And there is no food to be stored, so goes the kidney and the processing of the liver. So how do you see yourself in the dominion of the creation as a man from earth? Do you see yourself with a blood circulation, or do you see yourself as two lights in balance of each other as the creator? When in fact, the soul of the man is female and the soul of physicality the male. Then how man will look when the lung, and the stomach, and the liver has gone, and the interaction of these two fields and the interaction with the field of the environment dictates the shape of the man. Then man takes the shape of his environment. Isn't that what we say about the gases and the ganses? Isn't that now you entered one level closer to understand your own structure, how you appear should not be a shock to your soul and the dimension of physicality of the observer? You have to learn this, because when you move into space, you start looking for your stomach, which is not there, and what happened to the heart and the lung. But there is one beauty. In totality, man keeps in essence one thing with itself, and that to be able to create. And then man will come to understand more as we teach more in the future how you reproduce in space, because you are created from interaction of the fields, and you will create from interaction of your fields. You choose the dimension of manifestation of physicality or the manifestation of the soul. And either way needs a physical interaction in the completion of the totality. Till the two fields do not physically interact, there is no creation. There is no what we call birth. And this is where man has never understood the totality. And this is what the Creator brings, part of his process of creation. So man in a space will reproduce, but reproduces the soul of the man as the strength of the soul of the planet Earth. Then it'll come to the point that how the fields of other creatures of the higher strength, not higher order of intelligence, will fit into if you fall in love with them. It means I want to give, and it says I want to give as well. So let's put something in there that we both give to and we both enjoy. We call it the child. And we give, we shower it with. And it decide in the dimension of his own physicality at the point of maturity of his own strength. In so many ways, as I said before, Chinese and black have a child. The Chinese love to see his child as black because he fell in love with a black. And a black likes to see the child as a Chinese because he truly loved that Chinese face. So the Chinese man sees the black and the black sees the Chinese. And through it, they create a love that both see the same soul, the same love and the same understanding. But at the same time, when the Chinese wants to show the parents, this is my child, what do they see? Black or the Chinese? Then you understand the new dimension to man. Then you understand what is to come and more to learn. Then it comes in a space, there is no religion. Because man is the prophet of himself. Correct conduct. And in so many ways goes back. If you think good, you do good, and you act good. The three gifts of the king of Persia. In fact, the three gifts from the creator, the total of his creators. What he sent to his creation was the three messages and no more. Then you understand the message of Mitra was the message of the creator in the dimension of the universe. And somewhere in between got muddled up with a lot of other things when the physicality came to it. And we brought back that process back again to start new for man, for mankind, and a beginning and a fresh start for the whole of the creation. Now you understand more. Now you understand the essence of the creation. We are created out of the rays of the creator. Are we going to use the strength of the physicality to manifest ourselves, or the strength of his soul? Which rays we are looking at? And how do we convert it in the soul of the man or in the dimension of physicality? Knowledge is free. Wisdom is a gift. And how do you gift yourself? Because the gift is given by the Creator. It's you who has to understand it. As I said to you before, we have passed post-Corona, because Corona was there for you to come to understand your soul and many more. We are preparing you for the opening of the universal community. And the process was completed and has completed. And its past is the dimension of its physicality and has entered in the dimension of the soul. And now is for you to decide. You stick with the love of physicality, or you stick and move to the love of the Creator in the soul dimension of the soul. And you still have the choice of the love of physicality. Man's fear should not be that I lose. Man's joy should be that I gain and I become stronger to understand more. And as long as that fear of the physicality exists, so does the fear of creation. And that cannot be for those who enter the dimension of universal community. As long as you are the residents of this planet, you can carry on with your own tribal behavior, as that brings evolution and that brings perfection. But once you enter the dimension of the universal community, you have to be the same in understanding the strength of the soul of the Creator and all its combinations. So you behave different in the office, and when you come home, you behave different. You don't go to sleep with the suit and tie, and you don't go to office with pajama and slippers. And this is what you have to understand. To suit the sight, and to understand the difference, and be, in a way, happy that you are aware of both sides and both ends from now on. And you have that freedom. You come home, you're a father, a mother, a citizen. In space, you're still a father, a mother, and a citizen. But you understand more, and you can, in so many ways, extend the knowledge to the point of the creation. Home time is a rest time, and the travelers of the universe enjoy the rest more as they see more as the whole of universe becomes home. And this is where the new teachings, new understanding, and the new cycle of life comes. A new birth, a new beginning, a new cycle of creation. And that will become the new essence of the totality of the created across the creation. So you understand, we're preparing you to become part of. And as I said, go back years and years ago, we'll take man to a space to become part of and not subordinate. And if we would have allowed the others think they got there before, they would have thought they are the leaders. This way we show them even they do not know enough, and raise the level of awe that there is no more difference between all. As I said, in the coming time, you see the celebration of the birth on this planet, and you will see the arrival of many, many new lights in the sky. These are the lights of hope. These are the lights of reunion. These are the lights of becoming one. How the world leaders will respond will depend on what we decide, and not them. This time, we rule through the soul and not through their physicality. And in so many ways, in creating a new condition, a new dimension, with the fields of what you call different energies or viruses, we're creating the condition for these newcomers to be able to be amongst and equal to the others. As they live in that dimension, and when you have a guest, you prepare everything for their dimension. In so many ways, man will come to understand a new structure in life. And the beauty of it is such that it might even shock some of you that you thought you understood all. Those of you who understood the totality of the teaching understand something very fundamentally new. In bringing man to understand and see the totality of the knowledge the way we do, in the coming time, when you reach that point, as now you see through the eye of the soul of the man, you will see the whole of creation. The soul of your father as your mother. You don't need to go into the state of a sleep, but now you're in the state of awakeness of the soul. and you'll see. The same will be that you will see the soul of Christ in the same way, in the same manner, as you will see the soul of the other, what you call the prophet of man. You will see the soul of Da Vinci as much as you will see the beloved Tesla. Then you understand that with this process, nothing is hidden. It's for the finder to find the beloved. There is no dimension of physicality, so there is no space and time. And in so many ways, the totality of the universe will be covered by the two souls and the center. And one cannot exist without the other. Now, slowly, slowly, we teach you more. And do not expect that all of you understand and be enlightened, as it needs a time of maturity, and at the same time, it needs the space and time on earth for man to understand the position of no time and no space. You live in a dimension of physicality, you condition yourself to its time and space. You move and live in the dimension of the soul, there is no time and space. It's very much like the ray and the Gans, which one you want to be. You can be both, and you can live in both dimensions. But you have to understand and educate yourself. In so many ways, as we come to end of the teaching cycle today, then you understand what a lot of you start doing to unify yourselves and understanding it, unifying the essence of the fields of this planet. You remember, you start showing the flags of cup of life, that you all have a cup and you all live. And in the past week, we've seen the spray of the Ganses from the cup of life. I will mix my life, my cup with your cup. And you spray in every dimensions across this planet. So we're becoming one in the balance. And the process has started. And we needed, as I said, one agreement which we received last week. And the process has started. The Keshe Foundation might announce a special event in the next 7 days. SSI 503 channel will open up without announcement as the new cycle opens up. This allows us to deliver the start of the unification and understanding of many, many things that will come. And you might see somebody tells you, go to the teaching channel, because we have a celebration to come. And depending on the decision of the Iranian government, that celebration time will be announced by the Iranian government and by the presence of the Keshe Foundation team. And you will understand that the beginning of a cycle has started. Cycle of peace, sharing, and beginning of a new era.
Deci, prima parte a material, deci primul material s-a eu l-am intitulat cele două tipuri de radiații, din starea materială și din starea plasmatică, câmpurile taie și cele care dau viață, care cumva s-a continuat și în partea a doua, dar partea cea mai importantă și care a dat titlu este de fapt începutul unui nou ciclu, începutul unei ere noi. Deci, aceasta cu radiațiile și câmpurile este de fapt o pregătire pentru noi pentru a accede în comunitatea universală, iar decizia este a noastră, în ce măsură acceptăm acest lucru și ne atașăm de fizicalitate sau de suflet. Atașându-ne de suflet, putem intra în comunitatea universală și în același timp să avem și disponibilitatea fizicalității. Nu am să reiau toate aceste lucruri pe care le explică domnul Keshe aici. Le aveți în material, voi urca pe Facebook, unde punem noi aceste materiale. Și eu știu câteva lucruri să specuiesc din ce spune domnul Keshe. În primul rând, cunoașterea e gratuită, iar înțelepciunea este un dar. Iar darul este de la Creator. Noi trebuie să înțelegem. Nu există o dimensiune a fizicalității, deci nu există spațiu și timp. Dar este nevoie de spațiu și timp pe pământ pentru ca omul să înțeleagă cum este fără timp și fără spațiu. Sunt lucruri greu de acceptat și de pătruns. Deci acest nou ciclu care începe este un ciclu al păcii, al împărtășirii, deci începutul noi ere. Ce spune domnul Keshe că se va deschide canalul 503 al Institutului de Nave Spațiale, SSI, este vorba de Zoom-ul, ID-ul Zoom-ului pentru lecțiile publice. Este același Zoom care se termină cu 503. L-am pus eu aici pe material în caz de se va deschide această festivitate, această sărbătoare, cum îi zice domnul Keshe. Dacă există cumva ceva întrebări, comentarii scurte, pentru a putea trece și la materialele din workshop-ul 306. O să încep cu un material mai scurt și al doilea puțin, cel mai lung, de vreo jumătate de oră, ca să încheiem cu aceste lecții. Acum nu știu ce surpriză ne va face domnul Keshe, el cumva subliniază aici că suntem cumva la sfârșitul învățăturilor. Acum nu știu dacă se referă la chiar strict la această dată sau este vorba de sfârșitul privind din perspectiva învățăturilor. Deci dacă aveți ceva de spus, o intervenție, până pregătesc eu următoarele materiale.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. And
Deci nu avem intervenții scurte. Sper că nu am cumva rămas fără sonor.
Nu, nu, se aude.
Credeam că am o surpriză de genul ăsta. Bun, deci atunci mergem mai departe ca să parcurgem cât mai mult de timp. Și eventual, dacă rămâne mai mult timp la sfârșit, putem discuta mai mult.
thank you, Mr. Keshe. And as usual, I remind the attendees, you can put your virtual hands up and we can allow you to speak. And let's see here. We did have a question in the live stream that is kind of interesting from Freed, who asks, does corona also disperse by way of rain? And he says, if so, then it's understandable why it spreads worldwide so rapidly.
It can do if you have amino acid connections in it. It can do coming down by pollution, but not by rain itself.
It makes sense, I suppose, that sometimes the raindrops form around a pollution particle that may have traveled quite some distance, that the virus may have hitchhiked on the pollution particle and could come down in the rain, conceivably, I guess.
Everything is possible because don't forget the coronavirus has managed to attach itself to corn through the calcium. And when we get rain, we get the cohens raining up on us. Don't forget, this is how the nitrogen lands. And we continuously have the addition of the hydrogen, and carbon, and oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
One of the what we call fallacies in the world of creation, which they say that ozone layers were created and the oxygen was created to CO2, is due to the lack of understanding the truth about the interaction of the field of the sun with the earth. The sun and the position of the earth became livable due to interaction of this given strength field that led to the creation of carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, and nitrogen. They said as the different conversions started on planet, life started taking hold and oxygen increased and life started. This is so much fallacy. Life only started when Earth moved to a given orbit, that the interaction of its fields, its gravitational magnetic field, could create these elements. Nothing to do with what they told us, that the carbon and change to oxygen and the rest of it. We get a continuous supply of these four elements and the others from the atmosphere by the interaction of the fields. When the sun, or what we say, the earth moves to a new position, that due to the strength of the two, no carbon and oxygen will be produced. There won't be life on this planet. So during this transition time, which has been millions of years, as Earth moves forward, it has been possible to create life with the amino acid based. And before it was impossible, and after it will be impossible. So this global warming and conversion of everything else they told us is because it's wrong, because they never understood the truth when life started. And the reality of it is, you make your CO2 or any cup, and you get the protein as amino acid on the top. And this amino acid, which rains down, has these elements in it. If you bring a knife too close and harder to the turning stone, you get the bigger and much violent fields. If you keep it at a certain pressure, you give a constant, the same sparks, the same bits, which allows the man to exist. This, what I said, they told us the conversion of the CO2 and the rest does not exist. Never happened. But once the level of oxygen and hydrogen reaches a point which is coming from the boundary of the Earth, from the interaction of the fields, allows life to take shape due to the mass inertia of the elements of the planet. So what they told us, how life started and when the oxygen and the carbon converted, is literally nothing but a fallacy. Now that we understand the work of the plasma interaction of the fields. What really happens is as such. Earth in front facing the sun creates continuously these through the interaction of the fields. And in the other end, through the weaknesses of it, will deplete of what it does not need. What we see as the back traces of the Earth is those elements which we do not need. Otherwise, the Earth will be a big balloon every time as more and more fields get created by the interaction of the field of the sun. In a way, on what we call the dark side, the night side, is where the funneling of the energy from Earth takes place. The scientists, as they will develop new technologies and new systems that they can see this, they will measure the content of the back trail of this planet. And they will see there is a ratio in what we create from the front end in interaction of the fields of the sun and the Earth, and a back end in what we exhaust out. And this ratio dictates the extension and the type of life that can exist on this planet. If you continuously rain in carbon, nitrogen, all the elements, this planet will become a massive ball bigger than Saturn and Jupiter. In the exhaust system, by the interaction of the bigger, what we call energies on the tail, you will see that we have exhaust. In fact, if you think of it, we see this the same. When we see a meteorite coming into the Earth atmosphere, or we see it crossing the solar system, it has a tail end because continuously is interacting with the fields. Earth cannot be any different, but our speed is dictated and everything is controlled. We are in a controlled temperature, pressure cooking oven that there always a balance. What comes in has to go out. When mankind stands far enough from the Earth and look, and then it can analyze what is on the tail and the backside of the Earth, you will see exactly what I have mentioned. Otherwise, it'll become a huge pressure tank. And this happens naturally because the pressure between the front and the back, due to the pressures of the sun, is continuously kept, the flow is consistent. As I said, when I release the book number 4, which is the creation of the solar system, you will understand all these in a simple way. In this proportion, then we'll see life is sustainable at any point, as much as the interaction of the field of the sun and the earth allows. In a way, this planet has a supply of cooking, and it sits on its own oven, and he has exhaust. What comes from the sun in the interaction with the fields continuously creates different energies that needs to be exhausted. Otherwise, if you don't exhaust it out of the backside of it, due to the pressure difference in gravitational magnetic field, this planet will explode. It's a balloon. And due to the pressures, magnetic field pressures, and conversions in the environment of the solar system is continuously squeezed out in this way. Not everything created will stay. What is not needed is exhausted. And out of exhaust will come out into the atmosphere of the solar system as actually a food and energy for other purposes and applications within the solar system. Conservation of energy, conservation of plasmatic field exist in all dimensions. But it'll be funny, in a way, if Mr. Corona is exhausted into the universe.
Mai găsesc aplicația. Nu mai îmi găseam material. Cred că am găsit altceva. Am deschis altceva. A dispărut. Deci e vorba de materialul, condițiile apariției și menținerii vieții fizice pe Pământ. Pleacă de la o întrebare care ar fi de actualitate datorită timpului ploios. Dacă coronavirusul se răspândește prin intermediul ploii. Domnul Keshe spune că da, ar fi posibil, dar nu din cauza ploii, ci datorită conexiunii cu aminoacide. Datorită, în special, poluării. Rick întărește faptul că picăturile de ploaie se formează de multe ori în jurul particulelor de poluare, care călătoresc la distanțe și dacă au virusul, pot face, virusul poate face autostopul cu particulele de poluare și coboară atunci cu ploaia. Este posibil, spune domnul Keshe, pentru că coronavirusul a reușit să atașeze de aminoacid și de calciu. Și atunci când plouă avem aminoacidul ce plouă peste noi. De fapt, în acest fel, spune domnul Keshe, aterizează pe Pământ și azotul în mod continuu, la care este adăugat hidrogen, carbon și oxigen. Și plecând de la aceasta, ne explică domnul Keshe una din erorile înțelegerii lumii creației în lumea noastră științifică, în care se spune că stratul de ozon și oxigenul au legătură cu CO2, se datorește la neînțelegerii despre interacțiunea câmpurilor soarelui cu cele a Pământului. Și acum ne explică exact cum se întâmplă cu poziția Pământului față de Soare și cum se comportă și cum apare viața pe Pământ. Noi știm și din celelalte lecții în care ne explica domnul Keshe cum razele Soarelui, ajungând la marginea sistemului solar, prin interacțiunea lor se produc acele mici particule de praf inițial, care apoi cresc pe măsură ce se formează alte materiale și materii care se adaugă și cresc până ajunge la nivelul unei planete. Pe măsură ce crește, se apropie de Soare. Deci, la fel cum există circuitul apei în natură, când apa se evaporă, se ridică în atmosferă, se formează în nori și apoi picături de ploaie și acestea cad pe Pământ, tot așa, din razele Soarelui se formează aceste corpuri cerești care se întorc înapoi la cel care le-a dat viață. Așa și Pământul nostru a fost creat și el parcurge această distanță, învârtindu-se în jurul Soarelui pe o orbită din ce în ce mai aproape de Soare. Când ajunge la o anumită limită în apropiere de Soare, deci în fiecare zonă, interacțiunea dintre câmpurile Pământului și câmpurile Soarelui produc diferite materii și materiale. Când ajunge la o anumită distanță, atunci este în poziția de a produce aceste elemente, carbon, hidrogen, oxigen, azot, într-o anumită proporție. Oxigen în anumită proporție, hidrogen, celelalte. Iar această concentrație și proporție a acestor elemente face posibilă viața pe Pământ. Deci, din cauza aceasta a apărut viața pe Pământ, pentru că a fost disponibil aminoacidul, care inițial, din interacțiunea câmpurilor, era sub formă energetică, ajungând în zona inerțială a Pământului, se transformă în materie. Deci, viața este posibilă numai între aceste limite, de unde a început să producă acest aminoacid și până unde se termină posibilitatea producerii acestui aminoacid. Rețineți că dacă temperatura pe Pământ crește peste o anumită valoare, aminoacidul nu mai poate sta în această formă, nu mai poate sta legat, carbonul, hidrogenul, oxigenul și azotul. Se desmembrează și asta se întâmplă la 43 de grade. Deci dacă noi vom sta permanent peste o anumită valoare, ființele vii sub forma fizicalității pe care le vedem nu vor mai putea exista. Deci, până în această poziție nu a existat viață, peste această poziție spre Soare, ea nu va mai exista viață pe Pământ. Deci avem o orbită, o zonă orbitală în care există viață pe planeta noastră, care putem spune orbita fizică. Adică poate exista viață sub formă fizică, poate exista viață fără fizicalitate, asta este altceva. Deci cam aceasta încearcă să ne explice domnul Keshe. Iar ce vrea să ne mai explice totuși, că în aceste materiale toate care se formează și cad pe Pământ, nu rămân toate pe Pământ. Nu se acumulează toate, pentru că atunci ar deveni ca un balon, spune domnul Keshe, care ar putea exploda. Ci parte din ele care nu sunt necesare sunt evacuate în spatele Pământului în exterior pentru că a fi disponibile altor planete, planetoizi, entități sau orice altceva în univers care au nevoie de această energie și această hrană. Mai am un material, e adevărat mai lung, poate zăbovim mai mult asupra lui. Dacă există o întrebare la acest subiect.
Wrote in the chat is, what is the difference between pranic feeding as well as the practice of sun gazing and then feeding by plasmatic fields? So wrote in the chat is, what is the difference between pranic feeding as well as the practice of sun gazing and then feeding by plasmatic fields? So she's trying to compare these methods, I guess you could say.
More or less is how you tune yourself to where and what the strength to absorb energy. That's all it is. We absorb energy. What she's talking about is, if you go back to the beginning, go to the top, please. Go to the top where you were just now, explaining prana. Okay, we know this very well. This is absorbing energy from, what do you call it? The life forces from the environment. If you remember, we had an Indian guru who came to the Keshe Foundation in 2014. He uses this energy absorption by breathing, taking energy from the air, and you can do this by repositioning of your lungs and the stomach and crouching and standing different ways. And all of us can do this. If you are hungry or thirsty in the desert, instead of panicking for water or food, sit down, calm, very, very calm, and tune your breathing. You get the feed from the air you breathe. This is what we always say, man thinks air is just for oxygen or oxygenate and actually transfer of energy. Your lungs are part of your digestion system. And in that process, you use this prana technology. It's well known. But when you do with gases, instead of waiting to see what's in the air to convert, you directly with gases dictate the energy which is available, and that's what is needed. There is no wastage. It's a much more effective way. And there's no difference.
Mr. Keshe, I can explain how gurus take energy. It's not that they use their lung. What happens, I am learning that what they do, They separate this.
No, this gentleman does by breathing.
Yeah, but the way I'm learning it, because you
yeah, that's a different way. There are many ways. So tell us how you learn.
So the way it is you separate your soul from your physical soul. If you do that, you can be sitting miles away from a lake, but you can taste the water of the lake. That's how gurus can sit for 6 months or a year or 2 years. It's not that they're not eating and they're not drinking. They're eating and drinking by separating the soul. The soul is helping. The soul takes the energy from the environment. So what I'm learning now, because I went through the process of all the classes I had to practice, I had to do, and I went to India, and there's something called samyama that I have to practice for a year. By practicing a year, then I can do the same.
How much of the year are you in?
I am almost, I just finished, I came back March 11, is almost 2 months and a half, which I have to do every day. I have to, because of practices I did there, I have to do at least 1 hour a day. Like I stare at something. I close my eyes. I have to say a word, which is a very sacred word in my mind. When I say that word, that word, I use it in another meditation, which takes me to another world, which when I wake up, I wasn't here. I don't know where I was. It just takes 15 minutes. But when I come back, when I do this word 3 times, I take the same position and I stare at something. After I stare at something, I wait until I come back and I'm conscious in my mind that I'm here. Then I have to watch my breathing, and I'm watching my mind. That mind and the breathing is all the same, the same rhythm. Once I know my breathing is there and the mind is working, is there, then I open my eyes and I stare. Actually, you have to open your eyes a little by little. You cannot open completely. I haven't opened my eyes completely yet, because the minute you open wide, the tears comes and it burns a lot. So I have to open a little by little. I have open a little, half open, and when I stare at something, things they start to move, and things are not the same anymore. Say, for example, if I'm sitting, and then he said, after you open your eyes completely, then you sit in front of TV and you make it on a mute, and you open your eyes and watch the TV for 1 hour without any sound. You see the real thing. You don't see what you see before. You see the real thing. So I'm almost in 2 months into it. So my eyes is half open, and I practice that every day.
Yeah, but you tune it with the breathing.
Yes, is really breathing. And plus, I mean, this one actually has to be about, I have to do 3 hours of other practices before I do that.
My God, you spend your whole day trying to get a little bit of energy.
No, after you master this, then it's much easier. This is a kind of something to prepare the body to get to that point.
It must be very easy. You're an Iranian woman, you know how long it takes to cook in the Persian kitchen, so you're used to it. 3 hours to prepare. No, this is the way it's done. By breathing is the main function of the whole thing, because you control the rhythm of the energy which you take in. Air is a free flow energy. Air is not just something which passes through your nose or your mouth. It's literally tons and tons of megawatts of energy we absorb every hour we breathe. We feed. When we take food, we take a slow processing method for the physical life. But when we breathe, it's a rapid energy. If you stop breathing, which just means you don't deliver so much energy to the whole of the system, especially to your soul. Every time you breathe, you pass the energy by the soul, as we explained before. You die. Soul consumes huge amount of energy. And with the breathing, you dictates how much you open what we call the atmosphere of fields. When you breathe to your nose, as we explained before, you pass the energy by the soul. That's why you breathe through your nose, and it goes to the lungs. The effective energy is here. In a way, if you become very, very good at it, which your teachers should have taught you outside, is if you breathe once through your nose and inhale through your mouth, and the next breath, inhale through your lung and pass through your nose, you will achieve that status much, much faster. Because the whole cycle is to feed the soul. And this is the way to do it. You breathe, you hold. This energy is everything. You see, we say very simply, you got a CO2 and you got so much amino acid which sits on the top. You are the salt. You are the system. So as you breathe, all these things come in. The same amino acid which is there, the same, everything goes in. And if you feed it in that energy before it converts in the lung of the man to the energy of the gas level, you feed your soul much faster. And this is what the masters don't teach you because they don't understand the position of the soul. The rhythm of the breathing and the sequences of it, if you can do very slow 2 times breathing through the soul channel and then 1 time through the physicality, your soul grows very rapidly. You can do it within minutes. Now I told you, I start teaching you how to use your soul to feed your body. And in so many ways, when you start feeding the souls, if you learn in the process of understanding the totality of the working system of the body of the man, you can do magics with it. Because this is your soul. Stays there, does not change. By breathing, you change the energy level of the blood circulation. So this slows down, and slowing down becomes weak. So in a way, if you think of it, you create holes in it. And then it allows your soul to expand. So what your teachers show you is to breathe very slow, and you do. When you breathe slow, you take the maximum energy from this job as it goes. The slow breathing has 2 effects. One delivers the maximum energy for the soul to expand, and secondly, it has less for the lung to take, because more or less the soul has taken the cream la cream. And if you change your rhythm of breathing through your nose and inhaling out in a very slow 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 3 to go in and out, and 1 to go through the lung, you'll reach the state of the expansion of the soul of the man very rapidly. At the beginning, you feel dizziness. You feel sometimes vomiting, because this energy, what we breathe into our lung, feeds part of its energy to the stomach. This is why, if you listen to the teaching in the past few weeks, especially to the medical team, which we have given, we say those who get the pains from corona in their head, we actually know the disease has come from the stomach. That's why when you have a corona pain, we tell you, cover your head and see or your stomach. Because this process is related to each other. It's less energy goes to the lung, because there is a hidden transfer of the energy from the lung into the stomach. The stomach doesn't take all the energy from the food it gets. Partially, the lungs gives it energy, because it's gans, understand what it is. So, if in your process of breathing system, you learn to very slow. Inhale, use your mouth as a storage tank for the air you breathe in and you breathe out. Instead of sending it to your lung as a storage tank, use your mouth. Very slowly, very, very slowly. But don't forget, when you give out, you don't empty the whole tank inside. You keep some behind. Then by the space and the amount you can keep and the rate what you breathe, you dictate what heavier elements you need to cover for the body. And then what happens, your soul, because it receives all this energy, waiting stuff coming through the stomach souls, what we call physical soul, then it expands. And then that's why you see, you think things. Physicality has no dimension. Forget about the television. You can listen to the White House, what the president says. That's what I do with him, but he's stupid. He doesn't know I'm not there. But we work through the soul. If you want to train yourself to feed yourself, this is the way to do. If you do, you have to learn to change your, what we call capacity holding. If you look, if you remember, when the people, when I die, when you open my body, you see something very strange. In my breathing system, I have a cavity which sits here. My lungs are here. And this cavity, from where I come, creates the energy which I need for my soul, allows me the conversion of the soul. That's why I can stay in both states of the man and the creator. Just passing my second rib, there is a small lung. You see it on the X-ray. The bigger lung feeds the physicality, and the small lung is a rapid injection for the soul. I was created to be what I am. And it's all documented. I carry a very small lung on my breathing. This is why the smoking and inhaling bothers me, because this gets clotted faster before it goes to the stomach and the lung. So when you understand the totality, you understand the how you can do. Now, they don't need to show you a gimmick. You don't need to go for a year. In 3 hours, if you understand it, you can feed yourself. And then the rate you absorb, the frequency, the expansion of time. And that's it. It allows you to increase the dimension, because as you give less to the lung and you allow the soul to gain more energy, it passes. And then with this, you can even control what fields you want to come in. You don't need to smell the sea. You can smell the dust of the moon. These are the truth, and we teach you slowly.
Mr. Keshe, you're correct about the breathing, because there is a breathing I do, it's called Sukhoi Kriya, which you hold the right nostril first, and you breathe out very slowly from left, and breathe in, and then you hold the left nostril and breathe out. And then it was very difficult for me in the beginning, because, you know, if a guru pay attention to your breathing, they can tell everything about your life. So in the beginning was very difficult, and it took time until, and actually there is another one, is a rapid breathing, that you create 3 locks. One is anal lock, stomach lock, and hold your breath. that actually brought a lot of emotion out for me. It took, every time I did it, I burst into cry. And then, because since you do the rapid breathing, you pay attention to this in the middle of your eyebrow where you hold your head up.
You see, with the rapid, you said it comes from anal and?
You do it after rapid breathing for 3 to 4 minutes. You do a stomach lock, anal lock, and you hold your breath and you bring tuck your head down into your chin to your chest.
Isn't it the way most of women reach orgasm? This is the way when you reach the high, this happens. This is part of the cycle of the creation, releasing the soul. This is what happens. That's why you go into fast breathe.
Actually, Keshe, when I do it at the end of 4 minutes, when I do that, there is a huge light start to expand my body. And sometimes when you get to the lock and then you come out of it, there's a huge thing happening. Actually, when I hold my head down, I'm into empty space, and it's just like you're in a vacuum.
Yeah, but that brings you from the lack of oxygen. That's a different thing. But this process of different breathing, Hitler was good at this. Hitler found the rapid breathing to reach ejaculation. When he made a challenge for himself, in one of these, many of his big auditoriums, people, the way he speaks, you count his rhythm, you know when he reached climax. And he used to do it 3 or 4 times. He used to organize it. For him, it was a public orgy. Listen to the way Hitler used to speak. And then you see it at the pitch, and you see he moves from one leg to another. Hitler was famous for this. The rapid breathing in the same way of tightening and then holding the stomach. They say Stalin reached it. He knew sometimes what to do. And these are the way you breathe. By breathing, you can satisfy your hunger, your thirst, your sexual behavior.
Mr. Keshe, but with the lock, the way this one is done is after rapid breathing, you do the 3 locks and you hold it. And the lock is
there are different ways. There are many, many ways you can do it.
Yeah, yeah.
There's not one way. So if you hold breath, you're hungry, hold breath. You're thirsty in the desert, calm down. The first technique with it is to calm. Calming, it means saying, body, I don't need you. Just stay there till I do my work. The soul takes over. And then you go to the next step. You can stay alive in deserts for decades without food if you know what to do. You can even block sun rays from hurting you. Whenever you're lost in the desert, you sit. And then you extend more or less the level of your soul. You create your own, but the way we capture the American drone, more or less, you create a shielding for yourself. You're calm, you're part of. And the strangest thing is, when you do this in the desert, something very strange happens. And that is, if you're sitting here and you go through the process of creating the stone, you see animals that start coming to you. They won't touch you because they know you're a source of the shelter. You can do that very easy. So with the breathing, you need this in the space to create a shield to cover yourself. And you do it with your soul. And this breathing technique, if you understand it and you understood the cup of man, you can start. There's a lot of secrets I have not taught you yet about this. But you will see, as the knowledge is needed, the beautiful souls appear and they bring it to start with. From Spanish speaking, from all over the world. It's the time that the souls start educating. And so you will see how the way you breathe in respect to your cup of man will dictate the expansion of the soul. And this is what I said. One of our knowledge seekers was saying, I was looking at this cup of life and it started expanding and I could see the aura. I said, this is exactly where you're reducing the, what we call your own aura. So you'll never reach it. Because in fact, you have to use to understand, to expand this. When you don't see the cup of man is when you have learned how to expand your soul. Because it becomes part of you. It's not outside to be observed. I gave you the cup of man for understanding. Is I told you how many times is the sandbag for you to test. And all of you look at the other way because you're a physical human being. And then when you don't see it, it means you reach the position that you can expand it. You put yourself here, you put a cup of man there, 10 centimeters. You see when you can elevate your soul in a way that this comes out of it. Next time you put the cup of man a meter away, and then you learn how not to see. Then next time you put it at the end of the city, you will not see it. Cup of man, you look at the physical condition. As I taught before, we look at into how you train to expand the soul of man without physicality. And then if you understood this, where your soul is here and your body is here, and in so many ways, as the soul expands and is generous and harmonious, all the cancer cells, all the corona cells, which were on the way of it, because as it goes through it, in this way, will balance and they disappear. And this is what you have to understand. This is what I tell you, you can get rid of it. You don't need the cancers, but we still have your humans, so physical. And that's why I said to Caroline, when I came here, we come here to enjoy the physicality of life because you don't get it this way. Anywhere in the universe, the way it's here. And then you understand, the soul, it doesn't go this way. The soul goes spherical. And then, if you manage to get to the state that it passes the boundary of your physicality, what do? Your gravitational field forces of your soul, in respect to gravitational field forces of planet, allows you to fly. And then, if your soul has already passed the dimension of physicality, you travel the span of universe in position in respect to it. But because your position was established in respect to it, wherever you go to universe, you can always come back home. In one stroke, I have taught you all the secrets of the creation of your body. And there's much more. So instead of spending 1 week in a closed box in Tibet, or as other Chinese knowledge seekers go and lock themselves in hotels to get there, Now you know how to do it. You don't need to close your eyes. You keep your eyes open until you don't see. And then you see the limitation of the light. Because the reason you don't see it, because you do not see the physical dimension, which is weaker. You see through the soul of the elements. You're aware of the existence of the cup, but you don't see the cup. Don't forget the writing of Baha'u'llah, bless his name. He says, even the stone has a soul, let alone an atom which made the cup. And don't forget, you're aware of it. If you go back to the beginning of the teachings, what did I tell you? The interaction of the fields creates the soul of the cup. That's the soul you will see when you are aware of it. It's the same as when you see your mother in other dimension. You recognize that is the mother, because you see from the essence of this creation and the link with the soul of it. Try to understand your physicality through operation of the fields of the plasma of your cells, which are made of cancers. Then the rest is easy. In 1 second, you can have no cancer, if you understand how to expand it.
Mr. Keshe, I've done a couple of experiments on my own. One of them is if you sit and stare at something, just stare without blinking, everything starts to disappear. Like if you're sitting in a room, everything goes. Suddenly you're in a white space and nothing is around you. Another thing I did is this happened by accident. I sit down in a cross leg and I put the end of my palm press it into my eyes with my head down, and I press enough. The pressure causes.
And make yourself blind. Yes, I know.
No, it becomes dark first. Suddenly, from very far distance, this huge light comes, and the light becomes so many geometric pattern, beautiful screen, and then suddenly the sky comes. The blue screen has a blue leaf. Suddenly, the stars and galaxies, everything shows up. It's so beautiful. I stayed there about 5-10 minutes. And then after holding it for that long, I mean, it's so amazing. When I come out, if I open my eyes, actually everything that I see inside of myself is in the room. I'm sitting in the middle of it and I watch it. And it stays just about 1 minute. Everything that is inside, it comes outside.
Wang Lin, are you in the background?
Yes, Mr. Keshe.
You do this exercise a lot. Would you like to explain to us?
But actually, I didn't achieve anything. I'm just a practitioner.
How do you practice?
I don't know. Actually, I sit there and then I don't know where, like maybe I fall asleep, or maybe I don't know what I'm thinking.
You haven't been trained the breathing system.
Oh no, I just learned to calm down and slowly breathing, but I didn't know how to change fast and slow. But today, something strange happened when I stand in front of my cup of man. And normally, when I sit in there, keep quiet and calm, and I know my neck will shaking or my body will moving. I think it's adjustment. But today I stand there in front of the cup of man, and I just in very short time I noticed that I starting to shake in my body, and I starting to breathing. Yeah, as like sometimes very fast and low and slow. But it's like I didn't control. I just let it do what it like. So I feel that the cup of man can be very fast to to link myself with my soul. I don't know how to say that, but I have that feeling.
Yep. Now you see the same process. Wang Ling goes to hotel rooms, she pays for it, they lock her up in a dark room for a week, but they haven't taught her the practice of breathing. And then Asa goes to Tibet, they lock her up in the dark room for 8 days or whatever, and they teach her the breathing, and you see the difference. So breathing has effect on the dimension of our souls and physicality. And in so many ways, if we control, I refer to this, you go back, you see some of the pictures of the guru in the Sansano, that I explained this a long time ago, but you couldn't understand. Now you understand. Thanks to Mr. Corona or Mrs. Corona. Because now you are ready to comprehend the part of the knowledge. This is why it's easy to go back and refer to what has been done, what has been said before. Those of you who look for what to put in the cans, what not to put in the cup of man, I did it this way, I did it that way, you missed the point. And I'll tell you something, I have not shown you anything about the cup of man yet. In reality, it doesn't exist. In truth, the cup of the man is the man itself. But, as I said from day one, you wanted a sandbox to test, I'll give you the sandbox. You connect it the way you like it. But do you need this to find your soul? But you already carry a soul in your physicality that you can look into and bring it within. And with it, bring the whole totality. You can't see this, I have to give you this. Till you see this, and in time passing, depending when you are, you see the first light, you know this is the light of your physicality. He's with me now. Now let's see and go and see where it is. Because when you go into this dimension, when you go to the point of the physicality, your soul is there and is here. Your cup is here and here. Here, the distance is much less. The distance here to soul of the cup is more. You should see two lights if you in reality understood the knowledge that as this expands, you first see the light of the soul of physicality. This is what we see at the point of the separation of the physicality from the soul of the man at the point of death. Many people speak about a bright light and peace because now the soul has gone and opened up. What I taught you with the cup of man is for you to learn how to go and how to come back to gain trust. That very soon you can take this and cover the whole lot of it and take in the span of years. Now you understand the purpose and the reason we taught you the cup of man. I am the creator. For you to learn how we create, you have to understand the fundamental principles behind it. I can cook a man anywhere in the universe, even among the galaxies.
Mr. Keshe.
Yes.
Deci acesta a fost și ultimul material pe care l-am intitulat Cutia de nisip pentru antrenarea sufletului. Poate să fie și sacul de nisip, tot pentru antrenament. Ideea e că domnul Keshe ne-a dat ceva de nisip cu care să ne jucăm și să ne antrenăm. Deci ne-a dat o nouă cârjă pentru fizicalitatea noastră ca să poată să găsească legătura, conexiunea cu sufletul nostru și ne-a dat această cupă a omului. Deci plecând de la întrebarea despre diferența între hrănirea pranică, practica sanghezi și alimentarea prin câmpuri plasmatice, care domnul Keshe spune foarte simplu că este mai mult sau mai puțin modul în care te acordezi unde și la ce intensitate pentru a absorbi acele energii și asta este tot. Iar în tot discursul care urmează, domnul Keshe relevează de fapt ce putem face cu respirația și rolul esențial al respirației în tot acest proces de hrănire și de expandare a sufletului nostru și de vindecare a trupului prin expandarea sufletului. Deci nu o să mai revăd toate aceste pe care le-am afișat aici, rămân să le vedeți în continuare pe expuse. Deci, ritmul respirației și secvențialitatea acesteia contează. Și indiferent de tehnica, că este yoga, că este, eu știu, budism, că e, eu știu ce mai, orice fel de tehnică, tehnica chineză, această modalitate de a te închide într-un hotel și a căuta sufletul, toate se lovesc în special de această tehnică a respirației. Și ne explică domnul Keshe cum putem să respirăm ca să putem să facem această extindere a sufletului de care ne tot spune el de foarte mult timp. Și abia acum ne dă un indiciu în privința acestei tehnici. Deci, în primul rând, noi avem două canale de a inhala aer, pe gură și pe nas. Și amândouă trec prin apropierea sufletului. Dar cel mai aproape de suflet este canalul care trece prin nas. De aceea îi zice canalul sufletului. Îi folosește domnul Keshe la un moment dat. Și zice să respirăm o dată pe canalul sufletului și o dată pe canalul fizicalității. Ce înseamnă canalul sufletului? Nu știu dacă s-a înțeles foarte bine din material. Eu inițial nu înțelesesem exact, dar acum m-am lămurit. Deci este vorba de a trage aer pe nas și de a expira pe gură. Poate să vă întrebați cum am întrebat și eu. Păi și cum să facem treaba asta? Deci folosim gura ca și plămân. Deci folosim spațiul gurii ca să tragem aerul de pe nas. Și în felul acesta, practic, noi scurt-circuităm plămânul și alimentăm numai sufletul. Bineînțeles că dacă stăm așa mult timp, o să avem probleme, pentru că fizicalitatea își cere drepturile. Și atunci spune domnul Keshe, deci facem odată, respirăm în felul acesta pe canalul sufletului, a doua oară respirăm pe canalul fizicalității, tragem aer în plămân. Apoi încercăm să extindem de 2 ori pe canalul sufletului, o dată pe fizicalitate, de 3 ori pe canalul sufletului, o dată pe fizicalitate. Și în felul acesta ce facem? Slăbim alimentarea fizicalității și întărim sufletul. Slăbind fizicalitatea, ce se întâmplă? Se reduce intensitatea câmpurilor circulației sanguine. Știm că circulația sanguină, sistemul circulator, este capcana pentru suflet. Este colivia care ține sufletul încătușat. Și este ca o rețea, cumva, cu ochiuri, acest sistem de vase de sânge. Când intensitatea este mare, ochiurile sunt închise, practic. Când intensitatea slăbește, încep să deschidă ochiurile acestei clase. În momentul când se deschid, sufletul poate să expandeze între ele. Și pe măsură ce se reduce, el se extinde din ce în ce mai mult. Și practic asta este situația de extindere a sufletului. Și extinzând sufletul, nu mai merg toate etapele, le vedeți dumneavoastră, ideea este că în felul acesta puteți scăpa de orice cancer, de orice problemă de sănătate pe care o aveți, că în momentul când se extinde sufletul, se echilibrează toate celulele pe măsură ce acesta se extinde spre exterior până ajunge să cuprindă întreaga fizicalitate și chiar mai departe. Deci, cupa omului care ne-a dat-o domnul Keshe este ca să facem antrenamentul acesta, ca să ne extindem sufletul și îl folosim aceste cupe ca o cârjă, ca un ajutor pe care noi singuri nu putem să facem pentru că suntem prea fizicaliști, trebuie să vedem ceva în fața ochilor. Și ne spune să ne antrenăm. Și cum să ne antrenăm? Să extindem sufletul până în momentul când nu mai vedem cupa. O punem aproape de noi și ne extindem până nu mai vedem. Ce înseamnă că nu mai venim? Înseamnă că face parte din noi. Și că noi nu ne mai uităm cu ochii fizicalității, ne uităm cu ochii sufletului. Realizăm că este cupa în fața noastră, dar nu o vedem. Pentru că face parte din noi, vedem noi în exterior. Și atunci o punem mai departe și mai departe, până nu reușim să o vedem la marginea orașului. Ei, momentul când am reușit să facem acest lucru, atunci câmpurile gravitaționale ale sistemului nostru, practic, de extindere a câmpului, interacționează cu cele ale Pământului și atunci noi reușim să luăm, practic, fizicalitatea în interiorul sufletului și să putem zbura cu ea. Aceasta ar fi, practic, scopul Institutului de Nave Spațiale, ca să ia omul în adâncul Universului, în comunitatea universală. Aceasta este prescurt materialul care l-ați văzut și acum vă rog, este liber pentru întrebări, pentru comentarii, pentru orice doriți să spuneți despre ce am prezentat în această seară și mă bucur că am reușit să parcurg toate materialele ca să rămână în continuare pentru cine vrea să le studieze. Vă rog.
Bună seara, Gianni Petrila.
Bună seara, Gianni.
Mulțumesc, Virgil. Mulțumesc domnului Keshe. Pentru mine acesta este un material în care alimentația este privită din toate punctele de vedere, în special al totalității. Aici, în materialul prezentat astăzi, avem tehnologia alimentării omului și a sufletului omului. Și încă o dată mulțumesc pentru tot ceea ce faci. Mulțumim!
Mulțumesc, Gianni. Cine mai dorește? Știu că au fost materiale multe, cunoștințele condensate. Trebuie revăzute, trebuie aprofundate. Sunt multe lucruri pe care le știam, multe lucruri care sunt noi, multe lucruri care au legat multe alte lucruri știute sau presupuse. Sunt multe confirmări din ceea ce știam, din ceea ce presupuneam și multe noutăți. Și un mod nou de a privi, cel puțin din prima parte, radiațiile, catalogarea lor, modul în care există, felul în care noi le vedem și important că creatorul emite pe două canale. Un canal al fizicalității și un canal al sufletului. Și fiecare canal are o gamă foarte largă de intensități de câmpuri. Noi știm pe partea fizicalității, razele gamma care ați văzut când ajung în zona atmosferică a Pământului se transformă și apar multe alte categorii de raze, dar sunt raze mult mai intense decât gamma, chiar în domeniul fizicalității pe care noi nu le cunoaștem și care spune domnul Keshe că le vom înțelege pe toate ulterior, după intensitatea lor. Dar este o gamă foarte largă de câmpuri pe care nu le înțelegem, nu le cunoaștem, acelea la nivelul sufletului, care și ele sunt într-o varietate foarte mare de intensități, pe care practic noi încă nu ne catalogăm pentru că nu le cunoaștem intensitățile, dar avem cumva denumirile pe care le-a dat domnul Keshe, acelea de un fel de vitamine. Vitamina iubirii, vitamina devoțiunii și celelalte vitamine, deci acestea sunt practic intensități de câmpuri ale sufletului. Cum le vom denumi, cum se vor numi ulterior, vom vedea. Acum este bine că știm că există și să încercăm să le accesăm. Mai bine să ne străduim să le accesăm. Cine mai dorește să își pună punctul de vedere față de orice material prezentat? Cum vi s-a părut omul viitorului pe care ne-l descrie domnul Keshe, care nu va mai avea nevoie de ochi, nu va mai avea nevoie de nas, nu va mai avea nevoie de urechi, nu va mai avea nevoie de gură și tot sistemul digestiv, nu va mai avea nevoie de organe interne. Și totul se va reduce la două lumini, cele două suflete care interacționează între ele și dau nașterea la sufletul totalității, care iradiază în continuu și, practic, el se va acomoda cu mediul în care este și se va extinde cât mediul îi va permite. Ne întreabă domnul Keshe, nu asta am învățat noi despre gaze și despre gansuri? Ele se extind atâta cât le permite mediul. De noutate, sufletul omului este femeiesc, iar sufletul fizicalității este bărbătesc. Deci avem cele două elemente ale creației în noi. Deci când ne spunea domnul Keshe, cu mulți ani în urmă, învățând această tehnologie și rămânând ca fiind să fim ultimul om în picioare pe o planetă îndepărtată, să putem să devenim Adam și să putem continua ciclul creației. Avem aici răspunsul. Ne mai spune domnul Keshe că în spațiu omul se va reproduce, dar se va produce sufletul omului ca intensitatea sufletului planetei Pământ. Deci noi întotdeauna vom avea specificul și caracteristicile planetei de unde am plecat, indiferent unde ajungem. Deși avem în sufletul nostru intensitatea, o parte din intensitatea Creatorului, de la intensitatea sufletului Creatorului, noi în totalitate suntem un produs al acestei planete și asta va fi caracteristica noastră. Până când vom reuși, prin dragoste, cu o altă ființă, de pe o altă zonă a sistemului, al Universului, a Unicosului, să producem un copil, un hibrid, cum ar veni, între două rase diferite, cu intensități diferite, să producă un copil de o intensitate diferită. Intensitatea sufletului, bineînțeles. Dacă mai doriți să interveniți, materialul este foarte generos, are foarte multe puncte în el. E adevărat că în seara asta am turnat cu găleata, cum se zice, dar nu vreau să mai port după mine aceste materiale care știam că sunt importante și le așteptați și să nu le țin eu la dospit, cum se zice. Dacă nu mai sunt întrebări și comentarii, atunci o să vă las să le parcurgeți pe îndelete fiecare când are timp și dispun din dispoziția necesară, pentru că trebuie parcurse în liniște și cu toată atenția pentru o înțelegere deplină.
Bună seara, Virgil. Verificare. Citești un pic chat-ul și dacă poți să-mi spui, ești de acord cu ce scrie acolo?
De obicei, eu nu prea ajung la chat să văd. Dar nu prea înțeleg întrebarea. Ideea e că domnul Keshe ne spune că înțelegem că Eva este în Adam, iar Adam și Eva sunt în alt Adam. Dacă domnul Keshe ți-a răspuns la întrebare, înseamnă că e bine. Dacă nu, poți să o mai dezvolți un pic.
Răspuns la multe întrebări. Hai să fiu scurt, că știu că nu e timp.
Deci, acum e timp până cât vrem noi. Dacă să închidem, nu e nicio problemă.
Raza în legătură cu gansul, adică odată când este raza de formă de călătorie de la creator către creație. Când vorbim de la suflet la fizicalitate, adică cele două căi care ne foloseam, carbon 12, carbon 14, linia fizicalității, linia sufletului. Deci am făcut paragonare între ce a explicat din materialul care l-ai citit, rază, gans, suflet, fizicalitate, B12, B14 sau B9, B6, da? Deci cum era linia stomacului, unde până acolo absorb, de acolo încep cu experimentele. Bine, cu coada planetei. Formă Adam și Eva, să zicem, ca și început, un ciclu. Noe și Lot s-a încheiat un ciclu și a început alt ciclu. Iisus, acum, nu știu, altă persoană care să pun pe lângă un alt ciclu și pomă cei care înțeleg ceea ce ne explică domnul Keshe, ultimii oameni care stau supraviețuitorii, care vor înțelege acest lucru, un nou ciclu. Asta vreau să zic. În legătură cu respirația, cu controlul respirației prin cadrul emoțiilor și prin emoții, din așa, bla bla bla, în 313 din 3 ianuarie.
Scuze că intervin, Dan. Ca ciclu evolutiv vrei să spui, nu?
Da, deci ciclul de înțelegere, evolutiv.
Da.
Deci noi, spune domnul Keshe, că începem un nou ciclu, acum. Ce fel de ciclu ar fi, după părerea ta?
Păi cum s-a înecat pe ea i-a rămas pe noi pe corabie, exact așa suntem și noi acum. O să pășim și noi în comunitatea universală, restul bulbudic cei cu fizicalitatea, mai ales că ce am ascultat în grupul american, mă țin de duminică seara, când a zis, sunt două căi, aveți o singură alegere, ori urmați calea asta, ori nu cu mine, restul puteți să faceți bulbudic, fiecare după înțelegerea lui.
Te-am mai spus că asta este singura cale.
Da, avem de ales o singură cale. Da, nu. Ideea e că putem să alegem și calea fizicalității, dar asta va fi de scurtă durată, vom mai dăinui o perioadă aici, în acest fel. Până când planeta noastră iese din această zonă, ne-a explicat mai devreme.
Ei, și acolo apare acea schimbare de ciclu evolutiv. Ăla e momentul, Virgil, după părerea mea.
Da, noi suntem în plină schimbare de ciclu evolutiv. Deci acum începe un nou ciclu. Un ciclu al păcii, un ciclu al schimbării de la fizicalitate la suflet, un ciclu al intrării în comunitatea universală, un ciclu al zborului în adâncul universului. Ăsta e ciclul care începe acum și pe care domnul Keshe vrea să-l sărbătorească cumva prin eu știu, cu ajutorul conaționalilor dumnealui, cu iranienii, așteaptă deocamdată aprobarea de la oficialii iranieni, pentru că dumnealui consideră că de acolo a plecat această știință, această cunoaștere, el fiind original de acolo. Multe descoperiri s-au făcut acolo, primele lui reactoare de zbor în Iran le-a făcut, primele cercetări. Deci, cumva, el este obligat să dea întâietate națiunii iraniene pentru această știință, după care va răspândi, cum o face de obicei, de fel de atâta timp, pe întregul, mapamont. Dar vrea cumva să fie ceva aniversar, ceva oficial, ceva care să înceapă un start oficial, de fapt.
Păi, Virgil, primul reactor de zbor funcțional, care este monoreactor și care este foarte greu de stăpânit, dar iranienii au găsit o soluție cu care să-l controleze, de fapt, a fost făcut în Iran.
Sigur că da.
Mâine trebuie să lămurim, cel puțin unul dintre voi, poate cineva cândva, o să pun întrebarea domnului Keshe, măcar în chat, dacă nu verbală, să-l întrebe de ce, când a fost întrebat, putem să facem reactoarele dinamice cu cupa vieții? A zis nu, extindeți câmpurile, nu știi cum interacționează cu COVID-ul, nu înțelegeți. Duminică seara a zis, cu sistemul ăsta satelitar, a zis, câți dintre voi ați făcut sisteme dinamice, star formation și ăsta tip satelitar ca să creezi domnul să protejezi zona pe niciunul. Deci trebuie să înțeleg mâine dacă de ce e laie, azi e laie, mâine e laie și poi mâine iar e laie. Deci nu faceți sistemele dinamice, faceți-le, dar nu le faceți.
Cum adică că foarte mulți dintre noi am făcut sisteme dinamice tale?
Sistem dinamic cu vieții, mă refer. Pentru... Nu puneți gansul în mașină de spălat pe să opresc motoarele, asta o știam, în general. Nu faceți cu asta, că nu știți cum unde extindeți câmpul și nu știți cu ce interveniți și ce faceți, la care fac o palmă după ochi, după o ceafă. Câți dintre voi ați făcut? Niciunul nu ați făcut. De ce nu ați făcut?
Păi nu ne-a spus dânsul, Dane, nu ne-a spus dânsul că doar 2 persoane din fundație sunt instruite, 2 femei din fundație.
Aia era de Cupa Omului. Aia era, nu, Cupa Omului, pardon. Ba da, a zis bine, Cupa Omului. Într-o anumită poziție, cele cu bobine. Nu vorbeam de asta, vorbeam de sistemul dinamic cu gansuri din Cupa vieții, să zicem așa, Cupa 1, Cupa 2 sau asta, cu care să creezi domnul în jurul tău.
Și asta a spus-o, că nu trebuie să o facem. Da, așa este, ai dreptate.
Și Duminica a zis, că niciunul nu a făcut-o. De ce n-a făcut-o?
Duminică unde a spus?
Duminică în Team America de Nord. Și la care domnul Carolina...
Păi eu zic să pună întrebarea cine a auzit acolo.
Atunci o să fac o să surgesc cât de curând.
Pentru că noi nu știm informația asta.
Doamna Carolina a pus pe Telegram, în toate grupurile, nu transcript, odată audio, să lucreze la transcript, pentru ce a zis domnul Keshe în duminică seara.
Da, deci fiecare pune întrebările în funcție de cunoștințele pe care le are și informațiile care le-a primit. Nu poate să pună altcineva întrebarea pentru ceva despre care nu cunoaște.
Atunci, dacă tot e vorba de ceva de auzit și de pus întrebări, marți, în o națiune, o planetă, o rasă, membrii Consiliului Universal din anumite țări au făcut prezentarea. Câte grupuri au pe Facebook, câte lecții fac acolo, ce materiale s-au predat, câte kituri, ce kituri, cum perspectiva ce a fost în trecut, ce e în prezent, ce e perspectiva pentru viitor. Noi românii suntem cei mai prezenți acolo, cu ghilimele de rigoare. Și mă gândeam să adun vreo 2-3 poze, să fac o statistică cu câți Facebook avem, cu câte lecții pe YouTube, cu câte traduceri a făcut Keshe, Virgil, Alin, ca să fim și noi prezenți acolo așa, măcar de formă.
Ei, Dane, nu ai dreptate. Domnul Keshe a spus de foarte multe ori. Sunt niște grupuri care sunt în background, pe care le țin pentru momentul oportun. Poate. Suntem din grupurile astea.
Permiteți un comentariu.
Da, vă rog.
Și aici Dan Baliș m-a ajutat cu traducerea acum 2 sau 3 miercuri, când am prezentat ceva în Plasma Reactor Group. Și la un moment dat, spunând că noi folosim apa plasmatică și în mașina de spălat, cineva a spus, păi domnul Keshe a spus că în perioada asta să nu folosim, că de fapt dacă bagi apă în mașină de spălat e un reactor dinamic. Și e și o glumă, dar i-am răspuns, zic că sorry, îmi pare rău, dar nu avem altă apă. Adică tot ce folosim este apă plasmatică. Asta vis-a-vis de ce întreba Dan, că spunea faceți, nu faceți. Și Dan, unii dintre noi le-am făcut. Adică cei care au mers un pic mai încolo, au simțit să le facă, le-au făcut. Nu au ținut cont de interdicții sau afirmații, faceți sau nu faceți, pentru că ambele sunt valabile.
Știu, dar pe mine m-a uimit faptul că domnul Keshe a zis, nimeni n-a făcut. Înseamnă că nu a ajuns la urechile de unul dânsului faptul că noi am făcut, s-a propus, dacă îl întrebăm pe Ștefan a făcut, dacă îl întrebăm pe X, pe Y, pe Z, pe W, toți și-au făcut reactoare dinamice. În fine, nu contează. Cred că în următoarele de acum încolo o să-mi pierd vocea. Vă mulțumesc pentru participare, îmi cer iertare și atât.
Dacă mai dorește cineva să intervină?
Eu cred, Virgil, că trebuie să fim un piculeț mai atenți în această perioadă și încercăm să păstrăm o coeziune a grupului românesc care a fost prezentă până acum. Grupul românesc nu trebuie să dilueze, ci trebuie să prospere în coeziune, pentru că numai așa putem demonstra mai departe valoarea grupului românesc. Este părerea mea personală și îmi cer scuze că am spus-o.
Despre materialele prezentate, dacă mai are cineva ceva de comentat, de întrebat, de adăugat.
De comentat, da. Nu am nimic de comentat. De adăugat, nu am nimic de adăugat. Ai adăugat tu și ai spus tu absolut tot ce era de spus vis-a-vis de aceste materiale, care, după părerea mea, sunt de colecție, mai ales din ultimele workshop-uri. Și din aceste materiale să întărească niște lucruri pe care eu cred că grupul românesc le-a întărit de foarte mult timp. Și trebuie să fim atenți cum ne trecem prin filtrul rațiunii, mai ales prin momentele în care se trece acum la nivel global. La nivel global o să fie, nu știu cum o să fie, dar trebuie să fim foarte atenți. Asta este părerea mea. Mulțumesc.
Mulțumesc. Deci dacă nu mai e nimeni care să se înscrie la cuvânt, închidem aici sesiunea publică de studii în limba română, numărul 143, și ne întâlnim săptămâna viitoare, tot miercuri la ora 7, cu material despre workshop-ul de mâine al domnului Keshe, să vedem ce noutăți ne mai aduce. Și până atunci vă urez seară bună, toate cele bune și să ne auzim cu bine.
Noapte bună tuturor!